Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV podcast 617. Very special.
A very special 617. Is this
I don't know.
like one of those 80s sitcoms, like a very special episode of SmashBoxxTV?
Yeah, where things like get really, it's a little more like serious content.
Yeah.
Where it's like viewer discretion might be advised.
Like maybe a friend offered you marijuana.
Yes.
Or
yes, and there's like
maybe you were at a party, but you drove and you have to decide, do I drink tonight? Even though I drove and I have to drive my friend home?
Yeah, some very delicate topics, all of which are still serious.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be driving under the influence, people.
No.
Welcome in 617. I was just reminiscing on the drive over about how a week ago my little tummy, not so little tummy, wasn't feeling so good. I'm after a couple of days of it just being weirdly sore. I'm back to feeling okay. But more importantly, as I stopped for a refreshment on the way here.
I see
of the non-alcoholic type, just to be clear.
Yeah, just on a very special episode of SmashBoxxTV.
My Arnold Palmer. No, as I walked out of the gas station, I thought, oh my God, it is perfect out here. Last week around this time, we experienced hot summer weather. That's not crazy, but it was definitely above average. And it was unpleasant for a couple of days. Again, if you live in Georgia, you're rolling your eyes. I get it. But it was genuinely unpleasant. Like when you get to 108 because of the heat index and humidity, and you're not necessarily used to it, you don't love it. And I, for a brief moment, was like, do I, for the first time in a week, feel a slight chill? Because it's got to be...
It's 68 degrees right now.
Yeah, in the 60s, and it's glorious.
No, this is...
Let me just say, it is beautiful outside.
Yeah, tomorrow is supposed to be like the perfect day. Today I went and got my hair cut, and normally what I do is, and I did this on the way there, I hit a Lime scooter from my office, which is about, I would say probably maybe a mile and a half to where I get my hair cut. So I usually just grab the Lime scooter so I can be nice and quick. And then on the way back, I'm like, well, I'm going to stop at the Milwaukee market. I can see it. It's like 6 blocks away. It's like, well, why would I get a Lime scooter? So I just walk there. And then on the way from the Milwaukee market to my office, I'm like, well, that's not that far. It's not worth getting another scooter. So I walked, and all I was thinking was like, God, it's perfect here. Kind of down by the lake. And tomorrow's supposed to be a high of 72. It's going to be perfect. I might chill out and work outside.
Basically, just as nice of the weather as they had up in the Brighton ski resort this last weekend. No.
Maybe temperature-wise, but not necessarily weather-wise.
No, I think it was a little warmer there. Of course, US WDGC took place this last weekend, which is a mouthful to say, especially when you're used to saying USDGC. Yeah. But, of course, United States Women's Disc Golf Championship, the major this last weekend. Congratulations to everybody that was there and able to participate, everybody that got all of their rounds and their golf in, which seems like it was everybody, so to speak, by the time it was all said and done. We'll recap a few of those details. Before we do so, a real quick shout out. Here it is, July 21st. Happy birthday to one Jeremy Rusko, celebrating a birthday today. I think he said he's 32 again.
Well,
I don't know how that works.
Appropriate, because this weekend is the Jomez Pro at Champions Landing.
Yeah.
So, the property that he owns, he'll be able to celebrate a birthday, maybe kick his feet up by where the pool was. I don't think the pool's there anymore.
Right.
But maybe kind of kick your feet up there with a nice cold drink and watch the players, go through.
Yes. So happy birthday to Rusko. He's been a guest here a number of times.
Good friend of us and the show.
Yes. And big early supporter of live disc golf. And we're talking, 2016, that era, 2014, 2015, when SmashBoxx was just getting started. He and the GBO were synonymous with pushing the envelope and doing whatever they could to have the most amount of exposure. And yes, disc golf, live disc golf, to this day, still has kinks to work out, of course, but he very much believed in it. And of course, they had post-production and they do a ton of other marketing things, but he was a very, very prominent supporter of having live broadcasting as well. And for that, we will forever be thankful that he saw some value in that.
Some really great memories of GBO broadcasts and after broadcasts, fun stuff.
Yes, so. Lots of good times for sure. So anyway, happy birthday to Rusko. All right, We're going to have Matt, I believe, from UDisc join us, Matt Kruger. He's got some things that he wants to talk about. I know they have a few different initiatives and also some areas of focus that they've got going on. So whenever he's ready and he jumps on, he'll join us. But until then...
He did say he had a previous engagement that was going to run kind of right up to about 8 o'clock, and then he'll jump on as soon as he can.
All right. So until then, we've got some other stuff we can talk about. Like we just said, USWDGC. Johnny, what went down the mountain?
Owns hope at a major.
Yeesh.
And that kind of fell down the mountain.
Oh, look at you, man.
I know, that's cruel, but she'd be the first to admit she choked. In fact, she did admit that she choked. She came out of the gates scorching hot. After round 2, so round 1, she shoots an 11 down. Round 2, she shoots a 12 down. Like, at this point, all I kept thinking is like, okay, Owen's going to win this.
Right.
And it's, if we're lucky, someone kind of makes a charge for second, maybe gets within a few strokes, but it's the FPO field. You never know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, that is what kind of occurred.
Unfortunately for her.
Unfortunately for her, yeah. Owen Scoggins on the 3rd round shoots a 5 down, which is funny because it's kind of what I said her low round would be. I was like, at worst, she shoots a 5 or a 7, right? Like, but the way she's been playing, didn't seem, even if she does do that, probably still safe. Not so much. Silva Sarnen starting to make a little charge, shoots an 8 under par, and then we get to the final round where Owen just has a meltdown, an epic meltdown, going into that back half of that course. She didn't have anything going for her, but it wasn't bad. And Silva was just lighting it up. Like the whole front half, she was, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 down in a row. I'm sorry, 9 out of 10 from holes 3 through 13, which just put the pressure on Owen. And we saw something from Owen we've never seen before, which is to succumb under pressure. Her putt failed her. Like, brutally.
Yeah.
Things that you just don't normally see. You see her miss a putt once in a while. All right, yeah, she chains out, or maybe she misses an air ball. She'd done that a few times, but ultimately then on 16, when she missed a comeback, which I don't know if I can ever remember Owen really missing a missed putt comeback. It was kind of crazy. Yeah. And you could see it. She broke down. Another thing I've never seen Owen do. I mean, she's always very emotional, but it's usually the upper end of the spectrum. It just got to her. And you could see it that she just kind of just flat out lost it. And she needed a minute. She even told Justin, like, when he came over to console her, she's like, just give me a minute. Mm-hmm. Just give me a minute. And she got it all out. She went up and she had a phenomenal next drive, which she ended up missing a putt, but that she was kind of in an awkward position. So, because even after 16, she had a chance. Like, you kind of think like, all right, you're down by 2 with 2 to go. Both of these you can get a stroke on. 18 especially, which is not eagleable for Owen, but the odds of someone else eagling it are not as high. And she just couldn't get it done on 17, which she ends up taking a bogey because she runs out of putt, which I feel she had to do. And she goes past it, misses the comeback. And then at that point, it was over. Silva could just lay up a few times. Right. Silva had a phenomenal drive on 18. So
excellent. Well, we will pick that back up. We've got a number of things to talk about with not only the remainder of the division there, but also a bunch of the other divisions. And we can pick that conversation back up because for now, we're going to head over to, the shorter side of things. I think we have.
That's not nice to call him.
Is this a short king discussion? I'm part of the short club.
I was going to say you fit right in there.
This is a self-proclaimed.
I think he's the shorter between Matt and Josh.
That's like saying I'm shorter between you and me. Yes, no. I think that would be a fair assessment. All right, with that, from UDisc, we have Matt Kruger. Matt, how you doing, man? We need a little audio.
We're not getting your audio, sorry.
Or it could be on Johnny's end.
No, it's not. I don't think it's on mine. Sure? Pretty sure.
Johnny's really good at clicking the wrong button.
I hadn't changed anything. Although, you never know. But no.
Matt can hear us currently, but we're not hearing Matt.
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to double check.
Oh, here's my stuff. So,
if it's on the settings that you have your mic.
I have noticed sometimes on the AirPods they can be a little sketchy,
a little wonky. Maybe if you take them out and go non-AirPod,
just a test.
How does that sound?
Hey,
oh, there you go.
There we go.
Awesome.
All I did was hit the reconnect button.
Okay, yeah, sometimes that does.
You know that's those darn web interfaces. You know, if it was an app, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
That is very
All
true.
right. Officially welcoming to the show, we've got Matt Kruger from UDisc. Matt, you guys, as always, working hard and continuing to build out and develop and then spread the love. So what are you working on right now? What are one of the things that you're working on right now?
Well, we're always working on a lot. First of all, it's been a while.
Yeah,
nice to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
To set the record straight, Josh is way taller than me. He's like 6'4".
Right.
I'm 5'8". Kind of similar situation to you guys, where JVD is like a head taller than Terry.
Right.
But yeah, it's nice to see you guys. So yeah, we're always working on a lot. Right now, I'm here to talk about we put out a list recently of the 50 best short disc golf courses in the world. And I'd love to tell you all about it.
All right. I mean, right off the bat, that immediately gets people wondering, well, all the obvious things like, well, what's short and what makes them best? And can you have a course that is short, that is good? All the parameters that get us to being a great short course, which, by the way, I'm a big proponent of playability and user friendliness and introducing to the game and so on and so forth. So I love the idea that you guys are diving into this. But what makes a great short course, and what's short?
Well, yeah, to start with the definition. So, obviously we had to come up with a definition so that we could make this list. We're really targeting courses that are very accessible and good for beginners, good for new players, good for kids, good to be an on-ramp for people to enjoy disc golf and fall in love with it. So the definition is that the average hole lengths are between 25 to 60 meters, which is about 80 to 200 feet. Their 9 holes or fewer. They take under an hour to play. And there can be no holes longer than 90 meters, which is, I think, 297 feet. So basically nothing over 300 feet. And the average hole length is around 200 feet or less.
I was going to say, that answers my first question that I was going to ask, like, can you have a short course that's just a shorter version of a long course? Take like a Maple Hill in the extreme
and then play the Reds.
Versus playing the Reds, where you're like, oh, this is, I won't say a pitch and putt, but it changes the course quite a bit. But you're saying, first of all, 9 holes only.
9 holes or less. So it could be 7 or 6 or 5. It doesn't have to be 9. But yeah, having short tees, while those are great, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about standalone, purpose-built 9-hole or fewer courses that are geared towards, just people that are playing that layout.
I just have to start here. If you need me to go test and play every one of these, like, I'm your guy. I love this so much. And here's why. And I don't want to sidetrack it too quickly, but every time I do a review, and I've been playing a little bit more golf lately, especially when I can find a new course, every time I do a review, I do my best to review it based on what I believe their intent was. And more importantly, what I believe their limitations were. You go to a course. I just played I've played a lot of 9 holes lately, actually. I went to a brand new 9-hole I've never been to about a week ago. And just with where their soccer fields were, with the property that they had and how they did things, I was like, okay, I see some of these restrictions and I see where they tried to stretch things, where they couldn't. And I based it all on that. And I know that may or may not be how everyone else ultimately reviews their courses, but we need courses that are short and beginner friendly and accessible and can introduce people to the game. And I always say, if you don't like that, go down the road to a tougher course, because there's probably one there. Anyway, go on.
Yep.
I had to say that. I've been playing a lot of 9 holes lately, and there's so many of these that I feel like fit exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly what we're going for. Like I said, when you think about what can actually grow disc golf, there's a lot of things that can grow it, but to get everything bigger, you need more people playing. I always like to ask people, like, think about the very first round you ever played. With you two, you've been playing a long time. There may not have been as many choices for courses, so I don't know where you played first. A lot of people that have started playing since the pandemic, they started on one of these types of courses. More accessible. You're not going to lose. You probably only have one disc, right? You don't want to go somewhere you're going to lose it in the water right away or lose it in some thick brush. When that happens, you're never going to want to play again. So one of the things we've noticed when looking at our data is that if you play a shorter, easier course to start with, you're more than 10% more likely to play a second round of disc golf. So that's just kind of proof is in the pudding there. It's like if you bring somebody to somewhere that's appropriate for them, they're more likely to keep playing. And also, when we think about Terry, I know you've done a lot of course design and installation. When you're working with these cities to try to get these courses installed, it's a much easier sell, especially if they're not familiar with disc golf, to be like, hey, we only need 5 acres to do this.
Right.
Or we only need 3, like you could probably put in, 6 or 7 holes in 3 acres. It's going to be a much easier sell. It's going to be a lower, economic burden for them to say yes to that, to fit it into their budget. It's also going to be kind of the catalyst towards getting bigger courses in the future. So I'm sure you've heard it plenty of times, but like people reach out to us all the time. We provide a lot of data to help people with proposals and pitches for new courses. A lot of time people come to us and say, we're going to build the next course that Worlds is going to be played at. We're going to build a championship level destination course. And that's great. And we need those, but that's not often the best place to start, especially when you need, public funding. You need the cities to be on board. You need the community to be okay with it. You often need to get your foot in the door. There's no better way to do that than a purpose-built, safe, clean course where the community that actually is, their tax dollars are supporting this can enjoy it. There's a lot to this too. When we look at our numbers, less than 9% of the courses in the US are short by our definition. And in some of the countries where we're seeing the most growth, like Norway and Sweden, it's more than 20% of their courses are short. So they're doing something right there. They're building this on-ramp so that kids and new players and people that are coming out for the first time actually have fun. And then they keep playing that course until they sort of graduate or want to challenge themselves more and then go on to something else. And then there's also plenty of people, a lot of us that are, all of us here, people listening, a lot of us probably play a lot. We want that challenge, but we didn't start there. I'm sure all of us can remember when we could only throw it 100 feet, or it always hyzered off into the woods every time we threw it. And you need to make sure that, you have a place to learn and build that foundation so you can aspire to play those courses. This is exactly the sort of prescription for that. You need these places to hone your game, to get good, and then you can sort of graduate on. Or as most people, I don't think we talk about this enough, but like the vast majority of disc golf is casual. Most people on UDisc have fewer than 5 rounds per year. And that's the norm. Like most people play a little bit. They don't play all the time. The people that are watching this, the people that are here, we're all probably playing more than that. And we kind of think like, oh, that's just what disc golfers do. But the fact is most disc golf is very casual. They play a couple times a year and they're not super serious about it. And that is kind of, that some people become really serious over time, but they need that on-ramp. They need that path to be able to do that. So these shorter courses that are just fun and well manicured and safe and easy to get to, maybe have public transport, maybe are bikeable, maybe are walkable if they're in your neighborhood. That's what gets people out there to play every day. And that's like, I think my personal prediction is like the next Paul Macbeth or Gannon Burr, somebody like that is probably going to come from a place, they lived right by one of these courses. They started playing when they were 5. They just walked there after school every day and played. And I know we're seeing and hearing stories like that, especially in the European scene where, a lot of these schools in, Finland, I know they have a lot of school courses. They have a lot of like 4-hole courses at a middle school. Those courses are not even on UDisc because they're like, you can only play there if you go to the school. But those are what are getting people interested and they can integrate it in their PE program. And when you think about like, what should a course be to get people, used to playing disc golf and to like it? We can't be having 400 foot or 500 foot par 4s for your first time playing. Like it's going to take you 10 throws to get there and it's just not very fun. So I think there's just a lot of good that can be done by building more short courses. And like I said, it's an easier sell to the community that's going to be paying for it. And, we're not just talking about, like 9 holes that just get stuck in with no afterthought. like this list that we put out, a lot of these courses are designed by really well-known designers or pros. You know, Steve Brinster, Kale, Paul Macbeth Foundation, Dana Vici, Harold Duvall, Jeff and Kara from Chainlink in Toronto. Like they've designed some of the courses on this list. HB Clark. There's a huge list of people that have designed these courses that are on the list that are like very prominent and well known. I think a lot of the time, you know, you look at their sort of resume of courses and it's like, oh, they designed, you know, that championship course and that championship course and that championship course. But a lot of these people are also thinking about this too, and they've been the ones working with these cities and trying to get, you know, this funding to do this. And they've realized like, yeah, you know, there's probably going to be demand for a championship level course here someday, but not yet. And let's, you know, do something to prove that it's going to be worth the time and money to do this someday.
Well, that's kind of my question, I guess. Statistically, I don't know if you guys have looked at that. Are we more statistically likely to have 9-hole courses in places that already have championship courses? Like, I imagine somebody, we'll just say like Terry, when he's going out right now in the Milwaukee area, he's probably not going out to build a championship level course. It's a lot easier because we already have great courses to be like, let's build an intro course. Or does a city generally start with an intro course? I guess,
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to say one or the other. I don't know if you have any stats on that.
Which one's the chicken? Which one's the egg?
Well, I don't know if I have like exact numbers to back it up. I think what we would like to see is starting with the shorter course and then building towards that. I think that's going to be more advantageous and more beneficial to getting more courses in the community. But it's supply and demand. You know, you can't just build like we always talk about Iceland. I don't remember if I've been on the show since last year. It's been a while, but so we do a team retreat each year where we all go, because we're a fully remote company. We all go to some place each year to meet in person. Last year we all went to Iceland because they have 100 courses for a population of 400,000, and 20% of the population there has played disc golf. And when we think about that, if 20% of the population of the United States had played disc golf, that's 70 million disc golfers. Just think of if there were 70 million people in the US playing disc golf, how that would completely change the landscape of the sport, the tour, the course infrastructure, the awareness for the public. Like we would have so much funding and so many courses, we wouldn't even know what to do. And so that's why we went there with the whole team to experience that and see what it's like. Like every little town in Iceland has a disc golf course. They have a rec, like a sports area in each town where there's like a soccer field, and a playground and a bouncy pillow for the kids. And then there's a 9-hole disc golf course there at like every single town pretty much. There's a few people there that have driven that quite a lot. A couple people are responsible for most of those courses, but they've been able to kind of crack this code to be like, you know, disc golf there is almost as ubiquitous as a basketball hoop is in a park here in the States. And that's the future we want to see. Like we think there's no reason that it can't be like that. But to get there, the general public needs to understand what disc golf is. They need to accept it. They need to understand that people are outside getting exercise, and we're not just playing catch with a frisbee. Like it's an actual recreation activity that has a fitness component to it. So there's a lot to be learned from some of these countries that came sort of after disc golf started. I think I may have said, but yeah, the Nordic countries in particular, they have a lot more short courses than we do here in terms of percentage of courses that they have. And that's a testament to how quickly they're growing and how their on-ramp is just so much faster than a lot of the cities in the US are.
Yeah, and you can see it. I mean, we were just talking about the U.S. women's. Like, you can see it in the youth of the Nordic countries. Like, the young FPO players there there's so many of them. And watching them come up, and then you think, okay, do we have that in the U.S.? And thankfully, thanks to USWGC, we are seeing some of the youth. I think at one point someone said we had like 6 out of 10 teenagers in the top 10 at this event. So, what can UDisc do to help push more 9-hole courses? Like, do you have heat maps as far as like, oh, we're seeing a lot of 9-hole courses in this area, but we feel like, relative to where there are a lot of courses, there are not a lot of 9-hole courses in this area? And can you be proactive and reach out to like course designers or anything like that? Or are you more waiting for people to come to you and say, hey, I'd love to put in a 9-hole course. What can I do?
Yeah, I don't have exact data on like where there are more and where there should be more. I think we have some tools. We have the health index out there, which kind of talks about like disc golf health as a whole, and we are looking at adding more components geared towards that. There is some of that in there right now, so you can kind of look at areas that are sort of like disc golf deserts, like where you should put a course. Um, but sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Well, what can you? As I said, what can UDisc in general do to do that? Do you reach out to course directors or course designers? I'm sorry, and like provide them with information, because again, if we see an area that has 3 courses and all of them are 8,000 plus feet, you know, and there's not a 9-hole course within 200 miles. What you know, can UDisc help facilitate anything as far as being proactive to reach out to course designers?
So we can't be everywhere. Unfortunately, there's a lot of the world's a big place.
God, what are you
I think
doing?
yeah, we're trying our best, man. It's hard though. I think where we fit in is that we are able to provide data when people reach out to us. So we get requests, lots and lots of requests these days, especially since we've made it as easy as possible for people to request data. There's a lot of like self-service ways to get information about disc golf in your area, how much is getting played at various courses. You can subscribe to impact reports, which send out monthly sort of summaries of how much play is happening in a certain area or at a certain course. So that's kind of where we're able to help, is like, letting people subscribe to receive this stuff, or people reach out and ask for a specific report, and we're able to do that sort of thing for them. We're also starting to do a lot more advocacy and learning. We're trying to do a lot of learning to figure out like how can we spread this information better. We're starting to go to some conferences and talking to outdoor recreation people, understand where kind of the gaps are. A lot of it is still just awareness. A lot of these people now, they know what disc golf is. They've heard of it. They may have a course in their city, but they don't really understand how many people are playing, how often they're playing, how much they're walking when they play. And that's the stuff that we like to talk about, because within disc golf, historically, we've always talked about how many rounds are tracked each year. So there's, 20 million rounds played on UDisc last year. And that's great. It means something to people that play, but to people that don't play, it doesn't really mean much. When you contextualize it in like how many hours people spent playing or how many miles they walked playing, that really makes it make a lot more sense, and why you should be investing in it, because it's recreation, it's fitness. And there's a lot of initiatives out there to make everybody more healthy, and this is a great way to do it, and it's not a super high cost way to do it too. We've seen pickleball have a huge boom since the pandemic. We also saw disc golf have a huge boom, not quite as big, but still big. And the costs associated with both of those are very different. But pickleball has gotten, quite a lot of funding and momentum behind it, just because of their approach, because of awareness. More people know what it is. And I think the best thing we can do is tell people about disc golf, bring new people to play, and specifically bring them to play appropriate courses. Don't bring them to play Maple Hill Golds for their first round. It's a great course.
Right.
Great course, super fun. That's not where you want your first round. When I talk to ball golfers, traditional golfers, I'm like, you don't go play your first round at Augusta National. Like, that's something you work up to your whole life. And you might get to play there if you're lucky and have a lot of money or a friend or something.
Right.
But in disc golf, it's like, I can think of my own journey through this. Like, I've been playing over 20 years and I like to challenge myself. Then I had kids 6 years ago, and now I want them to come with me. And I'm not going to take them to Blue Ribbon Pines for their first round. It's a great course, but they're not going to be able to really have that much fun. Caveat there, Ray did just put short tees in on the whole course. So now there are a better option. But we need to be thinking, I think, more like that as disc golfers. People that want more friends to play with, you need to think about, are they going to have fun? Are they going to want to come back and play? And that sort of applies to anybody that's discovering disc golf. Like, you need to have fun and get something out of it. Otherwise, you're going to be like, that was cool, but I'm never going to play again, and I'm going to tell everybody not to play because it wasn't fun. So the more we can do to think that way, and not just think of like, I'm going to bring my friend to the most beautiful course that I've ever seen and they're going to love it. That may backfire.
Yeah, I mean, it might be cool, if you went up to where, Brighton this weekend and you've never played, sure, that could be a fun hike and some beautiful views, but you might not have a lot of fun throwing the actual disc.
Yeah. I think of, and so this is very specific to when I was in Estonia playing one of their highest rated courses, and then and I think it was 19 or 20 holes, whatever it was, and then they literally right next to it, like just take a detour all of 5 meters to hole 1, where then there was a 7-hole course. I don't think it was 9. I think it was 7 holes. And every hole, as you described, under 300 feet. Heck, I think all of them were under 200 feet. And all I thought is, this is so perfect. Whether it's you're there to warm up and you just want to get these little shots in, or I saw somebody pushing a kid in a stroller and then playing along with a youngster. Whatever the case is, I don't care how you utilize it, whether it's to introduce someone to the game, it's to get yourself warmed up, it's exclusively gets used by 5 kids while you're out playing a different longer course that's also in the same park. Whatever the case might be, I thought, how perfect is this that this course was also available. And unlike what you were just like Johnny had asked earlier, it's not just 7 shorter tees on their existing course. It literally was and is listed as a separate 7-hole course. And I think that's great. And this kind of also a little bit full circle. It was just a week ago, I think, on the show where I was raving about how much I enjoyed returning to one of the shortest courses in Wisconsin, which is Valrath Park in Wisconsin, one of the oldest courses that we have. And that course, with the exception of 2 holes, had nothing under 300 feet and was put in the 80s. And one of the greatest players of all time played that course every single day, multiple rounds a day, and that's Barry Schultz. So to think about his touch shots, his game, his putting, his finesse, he was never necessarily a short arm thrower either, but he literally grew up playing 180-foot holes, 210-foot holes, and that's where he honed his entire game. So there's something to certainly be said about these short courses. Clearly, they can still breed champions, and they're usually just that, a stepping stone or a block to getting somebody to the next level, or getting introduced even. So I don't know. It was funny just a week ago how much I was saying I wouldn't give for a park just like Valrath, where kids literally are riding their bike. It's a city park right on Lake Michigan, skateboard, rollerblade, ride your bike, walk, whatever, and you're playing disc golf. And I don't know. I've had a new, fresh rejuvenation for course development here in these last few weeks with playing more. And now I just feel like I want to put 9 or 6 holes in every piece of land that I see in Milwaukee. Well, I'll be like, here, I'll just put your baskets in. Let me come do this.
For sure. And what you're describing, like, that's what we saw in Iceland. It's like there's kids everywhere. There's people playing in flip-flops. There are people biking to the course, walking to the course, taking a bus or a train or whatever, or just playing because it's on their way to walk to the errand that they're running.
Sure.
And that's what we want more of, is like, one thing, a really aspirational goal for us is like, we want, a basket in every park, just like there is a basketball hoop in every park, pretty much in the States. There's no reason that we couldn't do that in so many places. We just need the appetite for it and more demand, and then we'll be able to do stuff like that. And I don't know, I definitely picture a future where there is a lot more of that sort of family play happening, and it's just a thing people do. But to get there, we need more people to know about disc golf, and we need to have these on-ramps that actually make sense, and that the city cares about and understands, the maintenance that needs to be done. And people are putting in that upfront work to educate them on, like, if you put in this course, you do have to mow it, and you should probably once a year, trim some branches and that kind of stuff. And it's really not that hard. You're doing a lot more maintenance to, edge the tennis court once a month or whatever.
Right.
And they don't even, a lot of times they don't think about what really goes into disc golf. And it's not because they don't care. It's just because they don't know. So there's just still that education piece that we need to do more of. But yeah, when I've been to the Nordics and to Iceland, and, because Iceland is part of the Nordics, but when I've been to like those countries, you see this stuff, and you see people getting off the train with their bag of discs on their back. So I think, the future's bright, but we need to make sure that all of us are advocating for these shorter courses, not necessarily only like all types of courses have a place. But I think if you live in a city, there's no disc golf, you're going to have a lot easier time, starting with something that the community can enjoy, getting the buy-in from the people that live nearby, the people that use the park, and then, graduating, maybe expanding the course, maybe building a different course somewhere else. But, supply and demand, you got to have the demand to build up the supply.
Yeah,
So it's yeah.
As I say, Terry, you've got yourself a quite a little hurdle because you need to get one of the great short courses on the list. There's not a single Wisconsin course on the list.
Ouch.
There's no Minnesota ones either.
Wow. I haven't reviewed the list yet, but now I am excited. I wonder, can't imagine that I've played. First of all, are these U.S. or worldwide?
This is worldwide.
Worldwide.
Okay. Now I'm definitely thinking hopefully I've at least played one. I'll have to review the list. Yeah. Where, kind of minor details, but how'd you arrive at the distance? 90 meters, were you just thinking 300 feet and less? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think we considered a lot of things. There were a lot of different iterations of, what the criteria should be. At first we were looking at like how far you have to walk during the round, and like, is there a big walk from hole 2 to hole 3? Like, should that disqualify things? And then we decided to look more at kind of overall average distance as well as the time it takes to play. So we really wanted these to be like, these are easy to fit into your day. You don't have to go spend 3 hours to do this. It's more like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Sure.
I think the strict criteria is under an hour, but many of these courses come in at like 20 or 30 minutes for a round.
Wow.
Assuming you're not losing discs and don't have a group of 10 people playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that went into it. But we had to consider, like, what distance is going to be fun for a new player that has very little experience? What distance will be fun for a kid who's 5 years old and can only throw it 40 feet? That kind of stuff really came into play. And I think we're pretty happy with what we landed on. And then when you run it and see what the results are, and it's like, man, these are all really good courses. We've heard good things about these. We played some of them ourselves. Number one on there is Sabatis Owl.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people have played that, and that course is amazing. That complex is amazing, but it also kind of shows another trend where, we're seeing more and more of these disc golf complexes popping up, where there's 2, 3, 4, 5 courses in one property. And we're just so pleased that a lot of these places are putting in kind of a, warm-up course or a kids course or a beginner-friendly course. It's just so great. Like, even, I talk to pros and they're like, yeah, when I go to Kippy's, I play the kids course before I play, that's what I play to warm up, to play the pro level, the pro layout. I'm sure it's the same with Owl at Sabatis or All A Blue, which was recently expanded to be more than 9 holes. But like, that's a really great short course. You can warm up there, you can get your upshots dialed in, get your putting going, and then, go play your tournament round. But even more importantly, it's a way for the community to like still have fun at a property that, has some really challenging courses. And then you can see it, you can get a taste for like, someday I'm going to play a really hard course. But I know I'm not ready yet. Or they understand that like disc golf isn't just throw it 10 times until you get 500 feet to the hole. Like, there is a world where you can get birdies.
Right. Yeah. Well, so far, Johnny keeps scrolling. Johnny stopped for a moment there on Fuel Park, which him and I played 20 years ago, at least, in Rock Hill, as we were visiting that area. And then I think, I know the one in Ruidoso, when I was there for the Tim Selinsky Masters, me and my buddy Dustin Skorpinski, who you know well, we were able to play that 9-hole course. And then I think the 7-hole course that popped through there in Estonia was one that I've played. So I think I've played 3 of the 50 in ranging in 2 different countries and 2 states plus a different country. So yeah, I'm going to have to go check out more of those. And I'm going to have to work to get one on that list.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know when I looked at the map, I was like, there's nothing in Wisconsin or Minnesota. Like, what the heck? We have so many 9-hole courses.
But are yours too long in Minnesota? That would be my only thought is, all of yours are over, going to have at least one 300-foot hole, right?
Yep. And this criteria is new, and I think it's something that we'll evaluate over time, like if we should disqualify a course if there's just one kind of long hole. But it also does make sense because we really do want people to be focused on like a beginner or a brand new player or somebody that is just a very casual player having a good time. And we've gotten some feedback since we put it out, and I think some of it's valid. Like, we heard one person say, the whole course is short, but the last hole is like 350 feet so that you can go and throw as hard as you can on one hole. I think the reasoning there is sound, and that makes sense. But we had to come up with some criteria that we thought fit the bill for now, and so that's what it is. It could evolve over time. But yeah, the Minnesota and Wisconsin courses are probably just a little bit too long. There's a 9-hole course really close to where I live that I grew up playing, and it's like 2 feet average too long, I think, to make the list. And I'm like, it's such a great little beginner course that it's the one where I take my kids and they have a blast. But we had to draw the line somewhere, and that's just kind of the nature of doing things like this. You have to draw the line somewhere. So that's what happened. But I think at the same time, if we can inspire a designer out there to look at this and adhere to it, that's awesome. Because there isn't really criteria for this out there, I don't think. There is some, I know, PDJ guidelines on like tee colors and things like that for, based on distance. And that's great. I think that's more geared towards competition and not as much geared towards like beginner friendliness, which is what we're going for here.
Was there ever a discussion, and again, I think of 300 feet specifically, I think of I'll date myself, at least 20 years ago, there was a push by DGA, Disc Golf Association, to have what were called, Ed Hedrick, I believe, started the idea of having our DGA course, which was a recreational disc golf course. And I believe one of those specific rules was, in order to be deemed that, is to also not have any holes over 300 feet, I think was the number. Was there any of that research or comparison or overlap? Is that at all a thing anymore, that it exists? Am I speaking another language to you? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm not personally familiar with it. I think, when we come up with things like this, we kind of, we like to come up with our own way to do it. We don't necessarily want to be inspired by what other people have done. I'm sure that they had great reasons for doing however they did it. But, to us, I think 300 feet, and again, it's actually 90 meters, so it's slightly less.
Sure, yep.
Because we are going to do things in meters. But
you're so international, jeez.
cultured
elitist Frisbee throwers.
JVD's a tech guy. Like, tech works in metric. I'll just put it that way. I don't want to be NASA.
I've been doing a lot of woodworking too,
on Mars,
and they do everything in metric. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
I'm
the famous
all about
story
it.
about
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, there's the famous story about NASA crashing a lander on Mars because they forgot to convert metric back to feet or feet back to metric. I can't remember what it was. So
sure.
You want to work in metric and then convert it to feet later. But this is, nice round numbers. And again, we're worldwide. We like to do things in a way that's familiar and understandable. And like, disc golf is already in meters. The, circle 1 and circle 2, it's not 33 feet, it's 10 meters. So we're going to live in that world. But to your point though, like, when I look at the list too, like the Fuel Park that you said you played, I know Innova, that's an Ace Place course, and I know that they have an Ace Place program, which is, similar. Like, they're designing like purpose-built courses that are, in this ballpark where they're supposed to be beginner friendly and, have certain requirements and things like that. And that course was actually designed by Harold Duvall. He probably knows what he's doing, right? One of the founders of Innova. So, a lot of the courses on this list, like I said before, were designed by people that are prominent designers, and they think about this stuff, and they're not just going for that championship course all the time. And I think that's just such a good way to think about it. Because if we want, for all of us listening, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't want more people playing, then the course is going to be busier. Like, nope, that's not what's going to happen. If there's more people playing, we're going to get more courses.
Right.
We're going to have this demand. We're going to be able to go to the city and be like, every time I go to this public course, I wait for 20 minutes. And then when a bunch of people say that and they understand how busy it is, they're not just going to say, live with it. They're going to be like, yeah, we'll just build another one. Like, it's not that hard. We just need to get some land and hire a designer and make it safe, and we're good. But again, it's a much easier sell to get some of these shorter courses because it takes less space and less money. Another thing too is that I think I asked somebody recently, like, can either of you answer me why are disc golf courses typically 18 holes?
Because golf has been 18 holes for centuries.
And why is golf 18 holes?
It has we looked this up one time. It has something to do with St. Andrews and the course that was built there, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe the answer is just because that's how much space they had.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was a semi-arbitrary number at the time, or totally arbitrary number at the time.
Yep. And so, we're looking at this and going, disc golf has borrowed a lot of tradition and nomenclature and things from golf, but like, we don't have to.
Right.
And there is no strict thing that says like courses have to be 18 holes. And this always reminds me of, we've heard stories of people going to cities This happened recently with one of our team members. They've been trying to get a new course in their town for a long time, and the city was rejecting it. And then they went to the city and said, "Can we put in a 9-hole course?" And the city was like, "You can put in a 9-hole course?" Like,
right.
I thought they had to be 18. Like, no, you can put in any number. And when we look at Iceland, when we were there, we played 7-hole courses and 5-hole courses and 13-hole courses. Like, they've just been like, you know what? We'll put in as many holes as we can safely fit. Not going to cram 18 in and make it unsafe. We'll put in 13 if that's what fits. I think that's just another thing we should all be thinking about. It's like, we don't have to have 9 holes. We don't have to have 18 holes. There's courses out there that are 20 or 36 or 7 or 4. And you can have just as much fun at a lot of those, and they serve a purpose. They may not be the weekend destination, but they might be the lunch round that you play every day on your lunch break, or where you bring your kids who have an attention span of 10 minutes and you can get through the 4 holes and be done. So I think we should remember that. And like, tradition dies hard. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have 18-hole courses. I think those are great. And I think that over time it's proved, it's kind of been proven that like that's a good amount of golf, right? You finish 18 holes, you're like, that was pretty good, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, I wish this is so timely. I wish you were on my shoulder a couple of weeks ago when I was playing some oddly numbered course out in my little adventures. I'm like, why is this 12? Like, they should have just made it 9 or of course. And I realized, 18 would have been a cram. And then I had like this whole internal struggle with myself. Again, been playing 30 plus years. And I was thinking like, is 15 holes dumb? Is 21 dumb? Like, for the longest time, Johnny and I feel like accepted 24 as a concept because
divisible by 3
is divisible. And we went to Ann Arbor a lot, which had 2 at the time world-renowned courses over at Hudson Mills, and both of them were originally 18 holes, but then expanded with 6 more holes to be 24. And then I thought, okay, 24 seems reasonable, but like 19 is such a stupid number. And I had all of this dialogue in my head just a couple of days ago as I was out walking around, and I am torn because I do feel like, yes, of course, we have a lot of tradition. And golf is our, is what has laid this path and has influenced us. But we also veer away from golf in plenty of other random ways. So maybe we don't need the same amount of holes. So all that to say, I'm torn. Like, if I can, I'll say this. I would bet $100 or $500 that I will put in some divisible by 3 numbered course before I ever put in a 7 or a 13. I would put in a 6 or a 9 or a 12. I would never put in a 7. Anyway, stupid math numbers, right?
Oh, like, I get it. Yeah, I'm the same way. Well, I like my numbers to be divisible, and I think that's one of the reasons 18. Another reason 18 is probably the standard is because you can divide it by 2, and there's a front 9 and a back 9. You can have a break in the middle and a clubhouse, and like go take a break after hole 9 or whatever. But disc golf doesn't have that at most courses, and we've just kind of stuck with that and been like, this makes sense, let's just do it this way. And you go to some tournaments, it's like, oh, it's 27 or it's 30 holes or whatever it is, and it doesn't make any sense. But
maybe it's
and
silly.
A ghost hole.
Maybe it's silly, but I feel like, and maybe this will die off, we are trying to pitch people on disc golf, and in doing so, you say things like, we're like golf, but with a frisbee, or golf with a disc. And so as soon as you introduce some of those weird numbers, I think it feels like it delegitimizes the sport a little. When you're like, is it like 9 or 18? Somebody I could totally see saying to me.
And there are plenty of 9-hole golf courses.
It's 22. And it's like, it's what? So that's where I come to the defense of your standard 9 or 18. Again, I've done other numbers, and I get it, but I think there's almost like a silly historical traditional reference when you're, as opposed to somebody saying, oh, so you play like 18 holes? No, we play 23. It's like, what? It just sounds weird to people.
Well, we're within a mile, Terry, of a 3-hole course over at Doctor's Park.
I can handle 3 holes.
It's literally up the road, and we're less than 2 miles away from a short 9-hole at USM,
right?
Which
I'm good with those.
It's a bad course
Mm-hmm.
though.
Yeah.
Like it's just to me,
it's 9 random baskets in the field, pretty much.
They've got a few baskets in places where you're like, it's like right next to a sidewalk, dude. Like it just
right.
It doesn't feel like it's the best designed course, but you know, it's also I think mostly private because it's on a private school. We've gone there for different sporting events and I see the baskets and my kids are always like, Dad, there's more baskets here. I'm like, yes, and most of them are in a field, but both of which would qualify for the short course.
So do you secretly have like the list of 51 through 100 and how are these moving? Like how is this an annual criteria then that you're going to reevaluate? What's the how's that work?
Yeah, right now it's a point in time list, so it was calculated on July 9th, so it's not going to be like updating in real time or anything. I don't have 51 through 100 in front of me. I'm sure it exists. And I'm sure there's some courses that would, that will move up or move down in the next year. But one question that came up in the chat here, I think from Chuck Kennedy, was asking about 9-hole courses with multiple sets of tees. We looked at, so for this list, these need to be like purpose-built courses that, just have one set of tees. And the reasoning for that, and I'm sure that there are exceptions, Chuck. So I'd love to hear, which courses you're talking about, so I can take a look.
We'll give him your number when we're done.
Yeah, I think he has my number.
I'm sure he does,
sure. or my email at least. But so when we were trying to think about this, like I'm sure all of us have had this experience, especially as we're starting to become, more adventurous and wanting to play harder courses, where you get to some difficult course and there's a bunch of people waiting on the first tee, and you've got to go throw. And there's all these people watching you. You're nervous about it. We wanted this list to sort of reflect places where you can go and have that sort of anxiety-free experience. So you don't have people on the long tee waiting to throw. You're on the short tee. There's a lot of courses and again, short tees are great. Short tees serve an awesome purpose. If you can't build a purpose-built, standalone 9-hole course that is just like, this is how you play it, they serve a great purpose. But for this list, we really wanted it to be like standalone, just because there are courses where, the short tees are a little awkward and like you have to maybe cross a fairway, or there's people on the long tee and they can't see the short tee. They don't even know you're there and they're throwing on you. So we didn't want, brand new players to come to some course. And then like, I'm sure there are plenty of really awesome championship level courses that have great beginner friendly tees. But they may not be the best experience. And there might be a ton of walking for the short tees. I've seen that plenty of times where it's like, yeah, there's a 500-foot tee, and then there's also the 200-foot tee. You still have to walk that 300 feet to get to the short tee. Yeah. That's maybe not the best experience for a brand new player. And in fact, courses like that would probably get disqualified just on playtime, because you have to walk, so much to get there that it's going to take you more than an hour to play it. In some cases, maybe not if they're 9 holes, but we wanted to hone in on like really specific criteria for this. And it's possible that we'll change it in the future. But for now, we really wanted this to be like, if you're bringing a brand new player, you want them to have the best experience possible, not lose discs, hopefully, want to come back and play. Like, these are the courses that you should take them to.
And I think one of the things that we've always mentioned here is the people that tend to maybe poo-poo short courses. I would love to know like the stats on, if your area has more short courses, are your longer courses less busy? Like, are we distributing more people? Because obviously, like you had said, we used to go to Dretska Park, where it was one of the few courses in the area, and it would be packed. You'd be waiting 20 to 25 minutes for a tee time. Some players are better than others. Everyone just kind of, so to speak, suffered while the players who weren't as good through, and then you'd probably hopefully play through them by hole 2 or 3 if you were lucky. But with a more plethora of short courses, those players can go play a course better suited to them, freeing up the more difficult courses for the players who maybe do want to play a more challenging course.
Yep.
So I would be curious to know, like, those statistics, like, are, a course, X quality course, if they have short courses, are they less busy? I know that's really difficult because different populations and areas and all things like that. I just think of all these dumb things, and I want all the stats in my head.
Yeah, and I feel like we've looked at that. I don't remember or know the answer, but obviously gut feel is that obviously if there are more courses, then they're all going to be less busy, which I think is probably true. And we've seen that, like, here, like a new course will open up and suddenly some traffic is diverted to there. But, also more new people are coming in than ever before. And that's just another message here is that, there's hundreds of thousands of new disc golfers that are coming in every single year. And they're often very casual. They play 5 rounds or fewer per year. But, I think again, all of us that are here listening to this are probably more serious than that. And we're playing more than 5 rounds. We might even be playing 5 rounds a day or a week for some people. And that's just not what most disc golf is. Most disc golf is very casual. And it's, if you really want to see that, my tip is, go to one of these shorter courses, like on a weekend, and just watch. It's going to be kids. It's going to be families. It's going to be senior citizens. It's going to be the crowd that you're not seeing at that championship level course, but they still love playing. They may not play every day, but they get out a few times a year. They have a handful of discs and they have a great time. But they're not necessarily going to be the ones that want to pay to play or want to drive 30 minutes to play. They might just want to drive 5 minutes or walk 5 minutes, depending on the situation. And the more of that we can get, like, the future for disc golf is so bright. Like I said, there's been some doom and gloom, like, around disc golf the last few years, around specifically kind of the pro side of things and the top side of disc golf. But the casual side is stronger than ever, and it's bigger than ever, and it's growing faster than ever. Maybe not as fast. It's not growing as fast as during the pandemic, but it's still growing very healthily. And I think we often, those of us kind of in the industry, don't look at that as much as we should. The base is there, but we need to enable the whole world to, take advantage of that and get more people playing.
First of all, I want to make it a personal mission that I get a course listed down the top 50.
I've got it in his head now.
I just really want to, and I was just looking at one of my courses that I put in 2005.
We can cook the books a little bit.
In 2005, I was looking at some of the stats for Spazland Park, which is here in the Milwaukee area. I was just looking at longest hole is 238.
But I think it's uphill
on that course. It's a course that's near and dear to me that I've loved because they didn't have the land. We had a championship caliber course literally 5 minutes away, and I presented to the village and said, hey, I just want to put in something beginner friendly, and it gets used for a youth annual youth outing every single year for like the last 18 years.
My son actually took a Milwaukee County course, a disc golf lesson.
Oh,
there. Yeah, like the lessons for the, yeah.
We brought a group of blind disc golfers out there last year to play this course. Mm-hmm. So I love that idea, and I really want to develop something that also, a couple of quick follow-ups to that is, what is your shortest course, hole-wise, on your list? And without me digging around, I saw a 7-hole. Do you...
Ooh, boy, I don't know if I know the answer there.
Okay.
No, I don't.
And then I guess maybe that answers my second question, which is, are there any private or pay to play? And Keepus, Sabatis, yes, those are. Is there any barrier as to if it is a $2 or a $5, if it's pay to play or if it's free? Does that factor in at all?
No, I mean, as far as I'm aware, we didn't consider that for the list. I think, and I honestly don't know if like the kids course at Kippy's costs money or if the blue course at Ollie costs money.
Sure.
I think it does, but that, and that does bring up a good point. As we talk to some of these course owners, that is something that we've been pitching to them. It's like maybe the kids course or the whatever you call the beginner course,
sure,
should be free.
Right.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, if people love that, then they're going to come eventually and pay to play the the longer course, and have this free thing to do until they're ready to graduate to it. So I would love to see all those be free, but people need to make a living too. So it's
I was just curious if that happened to disqualify a potential site or
nope,
whatsoever in terms of being pay to play. But
no, but the vast majority of these are definitely free courses.
As most probably are.
90% of the world's courses are free. So, or 89%. It's nearly 90% of courses are free around the world.
Mm-hmm. What is UDisc doing to promote UDisc themselves to newer players? Because obviously one of the hurdles with these shorter courses is if I'm coming out casually just with some buddies, I may not even know about UDisc. Mm. So how are you handling that as UDisc to find out like, oh, how busy are these courses? I mean, how can we get UDisc out into the world? Are you kind of just relying on like app store stuff? Like someone goes to the app store and looks like, I want to, you know, keep my disc golf score, and there's ding, there's, you know, the big U.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of it. People search stuff on the internet or ask ChatGPT or something, and, you know, it'll often point them towards us. Word of mouth is still, you know, for UDisc and for disc golf as a whole, is the number one way that people find out about disc golf. It's usually a friend telling you to go play or telling you to get UDisc or something like that. We're kind of interesting. Like, we don't do a lot of sort of self-marketing. I think we're more interested in growing disc golf as a whole than we are, you know, making more people use UDisc. I think we're kind of in a position now where we feel like people will find us. If they want to go find courses, they'll find us some way. If you're serious enough to want to go adventure out to a new course, you'll probably find us. Most people only play 1 or 2 or 3 courses. There's a lot of people out there that have played at only one course, and they play 5 times a year, and that's all they do, and they're not interested in finding more. That's fine. We'd love them to, you know, play with UDisc and have their round being counted towards the stats that we're able to share with city governments and things like that. But, you know, more importantly, they're playing, and they're having fun and getting exercise and bringing friends out to play. So, you know, we don't do a whole lot. I think we're kind of in the disc golf business. Like, we want disc golf to be played by more people. And that's what we care about far more than we care about self-promotion.
Earlier, a couple of times you've mentioned that a lot of people will play 5 or less rounds and are genuinely casuals. And kind of as you just alluded to, we also not everyone owns and downloads UDisc. Do you have a rough estimate, any kind of estimate, for what you guys think is the actual player base of golfers in terms of like, the overall player base? Because you have stats on UDisc users, but what's your best guess on actual golfers?
I mean, I can give you a guess that is my guess. You know, this is a question that a lot of people would love to know the answer to. And there's been some work done to try to figure it out, but it's really hard. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of disc golf. There's a lot of very casual people, like I said. You know, I think there's way more than 10 million people that play. I think it's probably a lot more than that. You know, there's more than 2 million people that have used UDisc. And, you know, I think that there's a lot more than that play. So nobody really knows the number. There have been people that have made guesses and put out similar numbers to what I said. That is by no means authoritative. That's just kind of, you know, I think it's at least that. And I think there's a lot more than that. And someday maybe we'll know the answer, but it's tough. Even for, you know, plenty of other sports, it's just a guess.
Right.
And I think we have maybe a better handle on disc golf than a lot of other sports do, just because it is sort of a, you know, more niche thing in some ways, but it's also a thing that people are very passionate about. And, you know, they do want to log their rounds. They do want to, you know, have a history of which courses they've played. So that allows us to, you know, count a good number of it. But that's certainly an initiative that we would love to tackle. And we have tried a few times in to some varying degrees of success or, you know, thoroughness. But it's one of those things where if we wanted to put out a number like that, we would want to be really sure about the methodology and make sure that we can stand behind it, you know, with some real solid data.
Yeah, I mean, you have to figure we have no clue how many people play basketball every year. And and it's not even like you have an app to keep track of your basketball score. Like most people aren't probably, you know, pulling out their app to play horse.
Right.
You know, it's just, at least we have UDisc that is a general gauge.
Yes. And when we talk to cities too, like we've heard this so many times where we will show them, you know, this is how many rounds were played at this course last year. And they'll be like, we don't have this kind of information for any of the other activities that we offer our community. Like you said, we don't know how many people are playing horse at the basketball hoop. We don't know how many people are playing soccer on the football pitch or whatever. But for disc golf, at least we have an idea of like, you know, this is some of the play. And there are ways to get closer. You know, we several years ago did this count the sport thing where we asked volunteers to go sit at hole 1 and count how many people teed off. And then we compared that to how many scorecards were created during that time. And then we're able to extrapolate a bit. That's not super scientific, but it allowed us to sort of approximate some ideas of like how many people are playing certain courses. And then there's also situations like, Maple Hill or Crocol or something where they actually do know exactly how many people are playing there. And we're able to look at that and be like, okay, this jives with what we're seeing, and we're able to sort of come up with something. But it's hard because you can't look at a top tier destination course and then be like, this is the exact same pattern that is at this public 9-hole course that families are playing with 8 people.
Right.
It's just too hard. So
yeah, I asked you that question, and I understand lots of people probably want to know the number. I asked you that question because your best guess, even your not so best guess, is going to be far more trustworthy to me than even asking this schmuck sitting next to me. Like, you're dealing with these numbers at some level literally every day. And yeah, a lot of people can throw out numbers, but if there's anybody that's going to have a best, legitimately a best guess, it's you and the crew over at UDisc.
Based on our last round that we played together, it was you, me, and Ross. Ross. So that's 3
at one of the nicest courses in Wisconsin,
and that was in a Saturday afternoon. So I think there's probably about 200 people playing disc golf in the country.
Right.
So,
exactly. So,
yeah.
And I guess what I'll follow that up with is what kind of was a different question I was going to ask is, I think of a course I installed not too long ago. I would love to go back to the village, the city, and say, hey, here's your course. We're in the middle of nowhere, by the way. Here's your course. Here's all the UDisc stats that you guys provide that are, monthly, monthly and annual that I can download and bring to that village board. That's where I then think, okay, this is just what's tracked. This is what we know of for sure, and that's why I ask you, if you give me that number and say 1,000 people played it this year, would it be conceivable that roughly 4,000 people actually played it, or 5,000 people actually played it, but roughly roughly 1,000 are the ones that actually did something and logged in on an actual app? You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's extrapolating or projecting in terms of the actual. But do you get asked that question a lot? Like,
all the time.
You guys provide great data. What do you think the real numbers are, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, people ask us that all the time, and it's again, it's one of those things that is not a blanket like multiply it by this, because it really depends on the time of day, like the day of the week, the type of course, how many holes there are, is it a destination course, all that type of stuff. So it's too hard to come up with something. But I think the message there is, if you are presenting, if you're using some of the UDisc data and presenting to somebody, you already hit on it. It's like, it's more than this. This is what we know, but it's more than this. And you can even just say, this is a fraction of the play. This is the play we're able to track, but there's more. And we don't know how much more, but we know it's more. Because we're certainly not getting 100% at most courses. There are some exceptions, but
if you were serious about something like that, like going back to Wales or something, you would sit at the course for like a day or 2 days on the weekend.
Yeah, or every day for a week.
And then just be like, all right, I know for a fact, because I was here from like 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. or something. I know that there were 312 people that played. You could then probably ask UDisc or get those stats and be like, oh, well, they only recorded 12.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then you would have a better idea of going to the city and saying, hey, based on this one weekend's worth of play, this is getting, we project that this is getting that amount within a gap, so to speak. So.
Yeah, there's certainly ways to get close, but it's hard to get it exactly right. Yeah, if you went on a Saturday, it's going to be totally different than a Monday. If the weather's good, it's going to be different than if it's bad, like all that kind of stuff. But
sure. Yeah, and I get so excited, especially about this latest course, about the idea of saying, hey, you guys are in the middle of nowhere. You took a chance on this course. Here's the numbers, and here's how far they're coming from, and all the great stats that you guys provide. I think it would probably blow their mind even just to see that. And then you say, hey, this is the minimum. This is this is what we know. Like you were just saying, there's so much more to it. So, some just great tools and resources for a lot of people to make sure that they're using out there.
And like I said, you can tell them this is a fraction of the play, or this is a portion of the play. And they're usually pretty excited just by, seeing the number itself, because often it's people walked 40 million steps playing this course. Like, holy crap. Like, we had no idea. Like, we didn't think anybody actually used it. That's usually the reaction we get. Or it's along the lines of what we were talking about before is we just spent $100,000 on that basketball court. We have no idea how many people are using it. We know that 4,000 people played this disc golf course. Like, we're going to put some money towards this because we have proof, that it's getting used.
And I literally just Googled how much does it cost to put in like a pickleball court, and like for a professional, so to speak, well done in a park, it's anywhere from like $30,000 to $50,000, depending on what you're doing, including lights versus DIY versus whatever. But that's and depending on the course, the actual course materials, ours are less expensive than that. Now, you can obviously, depending on the scale of the course,
moving and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's it's just all right. I'm going to switch gears for a second because I was at the major. I talked to 3 of your coworkers.
Which major were you at?
In Europe.
It's been European Open.
The European Open, I think, that one in Estonia. And I was let in on another thing that you guys are working on, and I don't know if that's public.
His eyes got big, like, uh-oh.
I won't mention it if there's no discussion on it.
Well, I wasn't there, so if somebody else told you something they shouldn't have, it's not my fault.
Okay, well then we can keep it to ourselves. But you guys are working on some other really cool stuff with regard to courses. I think that's a given. But it sounds like there's some stuff in the works for you guys to continue to develop relationships with most of our top tier courses, which sounds really exciting. Do you have an estimated date that, as I tease this out then, an estimated date for when people will know and hear more about that?
Well, I think I know what you're referring to. It's not a secret exactly. It's just, not been widely broadcasted. Are you talking about a way to make your visit at a course more predictable?
Right. Yes. And is that something you want to dive into for a minute
Sure.
or not? Or okay.
Yeah, well, it's not a secret. There's plenty of people using it. So yeah, we have a tea time booking platform that started a pilot a few months ago. So we've got Maple Hill, Procol, Sibe in Finland, and then a course named Cotswold View in the UK that are on the platform now, and it's going really well. We're really excited about this. We think one of the pain points for people running courses like that is dealing with tee times. There's a lot of courses that have used sort of golf platforms for it that are okay, but like don't really fit disc golf. So yeah, we saw a way to help make the lives of these course operators easier. And we built something for it. So
damn, I could have vibe
something that
that.
we nope. We don't vibe code. We're all professional developers over here.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, it's going really well, and it's something that we're really looking forward to. We hope to expand in the future, but we're kind of starting with a little pilot version because I think how we do stuff. Like, we like to get things right. We want to make sure that we're covering sort of the ways that something like this needs to work. And most importantly, we want people that are going to play courses to have their expectations met, to understand what they're getting themselves into. We want a future where, let's say you fly to Norway to play Krokal. Like, we don't want you to show up to the first hole and wait for 2 hours to play, or Maple Hill, or these other courses that have been doing this for a while. So we think it's really, really slick, really streamlined, built into the app, really easy to do. So as we keep going, we hope to expand it more, but for now it's kind of on a limited pilot that's pretty fun. And it's just so cool because this is something we've been talking about doing for, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 years.
Well, I mean,
and people have been asking us for a long time.
It's such a culture change for our sport, honestly, because we're so used to just walking up, and there's so few courses where you think, I need to book it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, Krokal and Maple Hill were the only two, and maybe Morley, or like
Morley Field,
Morley, or like the courses. I think if I'm going to go there, I should probably call ahead of time, make sure something's going on, and or that
have them get the red carpet ready for you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, hey, have you steam cleaned the red carpet?
All those things, the crown, the cape, all that stuff. But on any other course, I would just expect kind of to walk up. But if you think about it, any golfer doesn't do that. Like, you usually book a tee time with almost any decent course, in order to make sure, unless maybe your local course you can kind of get away with.
No, but you're booking tee times, and if you're like you're saying, if you're a destination or world class course, that means people want to play it, and there needs to be a little sheep herding, so to speak.
Yep.
And people have to take tee times because it's just that popular. So people are allowed to basically, I guess the long and short of it is, people can go on the app, they can decide when their tee time is. If there's a greens fee or something associated, they can do it right through UDisc. And then that's something that you guys are coordinating along with the facility, and you're essentially just a middleman helping take the money and then passing it along to the course. Is that pretty much what it is?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got all sorts of admin back-end stuff for the course so they can see exactly who's coming and when they're coming, if they paid yet, if they need to pay at the course, buy season passes, all variants of that, different pricing depending if you're a member, not a member, a junior or a senior, like all that kind of stuff. So it's a really full-featured thing. We're working on some more stuff to expand it to fit more types of play. But for now, the courses that are on there, they were all, except for one, they were all already using tee times. They were just using a different like golf platform to do it, like various ones. So we weren't, instituting this for them. They already had a huge need for it and had tee times for a while. I know the crow call story was that a few years ago they had queues that were 2 hours long to tee off, and they were like, "We can't have this," so they found a way to get tee times going. And now, they've been asking us for years to help them with that, and a few other courses have been asking for years, and we've been wanting to do it. And we, again, it's just one of those things that we want to do as much as we can to legitimize sort of the experience of being a disc golfer. You don't go to a movie and not know when it's going to start. Like, you don't go play traditional golf and not know when you're playing. But for disc golf, you have no clue. You might show up and there is a tournament. You might show up and there's 30 people waiting to tee off. And for these courses that have that sort of traffic, this just makes sense. So
it makes
it's, again, something we've been better. Yeah, and we want you to have a good time, and we want the courses to stay in business. Like, it's really important. These people that have gone out and spent, millions of dollars potentially to build a great course, like, they need to be able to support themselves, and we don't want them to have to worry about how am I managing bookings. So it really made sense. So we're pretty proud of this, and it's, again, something we hope to expand, but for now it's in a very limited pilot. I suppose, if you are a course owner and you're interested, you can reach out and we'll get you on a list. Someday we hope to expand, but we're going to take it a little slow. We want to get it right. It's complex. There's a lot to it, as you can imagine. And but yeah, it's going super well, and we're really pleased with it.
I personally love that. I mean, we know you guys are phenomenal, but I love that there is now a disc golf platform for that we're not going outside of our sport to a golf, some
nameless,
golf app,
faceless golf app.
Even if it's a fine app and it works, it's golf. I would rather see that type of interaction inside of our community.
Yeah. Yep. Let me follow or expand into the randomness of our parks department. One of our main parks department in the area, just Milwaukee County, has an annual county pay to play Parks Pass, and that's a whole other debate for another day, but we have it. Is there, I'm sure it's a huge hurdle to convince a random parks department, hey, why don't you just, let everything run through us? But is there an easy way, or are you guys interested in being a payment portal even for people like that? Because, and my example would be, Johnny and I go out and play disc golf at this parks department. Yes, we can go to the Parks Department website, which may or may not be crap and or work real well. We're going to keep score on UDisc anyway, if we're keeping score. When I'm logging in to see if it's busy or whatever I'm logging in for to see where the pins are, and then right there, it's like, hey, buy your annual pass.
Or buy your day pass.
Yeah. Is that a one-off, like a one-by-one trying to call up these parks departments? Where does that integration happen? Do you want it to happen? Yeah, I guess that's kind of all my question about it, because that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, we're building towards that future. I think, again, it comes down to us. We want disc golfers to have the best experience. We want courses to be easy to manage. Dealing with all the financial side of stuff is a huge pain for a lot of these, especially, maybe not the public courses as much because they have city employees probably that's just part of their job to manage. But a lot of these smaller situations where it's, a couple people that own a course, like the last thing they want to mess with is this stuff. Like they want to be doing course maintenance and making sure people are having a good time. But yeah, public parks, absolutely. Like, especially your situation where there's season passes and day passes and all that kind of stuff. Like we're building towards that future. And I think it will just make it easier because even, as a disc golfer myself, I've had that experience many times. There's some parks here where you have to go to some city website and then click like 8 links, and it doesn't really work on your phone very well. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to pay, you want to pay, but it's so hard, and it shouldn't be. It should be, 1 or 2 taps to be done with that. That's certainly very interesting to us. And I think, again, it's all about the experience. We want you to be able to go play, and it should be easy, and you should know what to do. You shouldn't have to scan some QR and click through a city website to get to some place to do this thing that should be really easy.
Yeah, I just honestly, I'm just envisioning a future where, like you said, you and I walk up to a course. Hey, I'm going to score at Dretska, and up pops a little thing. It says, have you paid today? Do you have a season pass? Oh yeah, okay. Then you ignore it, or no, I can pay right here. Do you know how great that would be? Then just pop my Apple Pay and be like, okay, cool. Like when I go park downtown. I walk out of my car. It's like, I need to use the MKE Park app. All right, cool. It's already got my stuff in it. Oop, there's the $3 that I need to pay. Just doing that all through UDisc to me feels right and would make a lot of sense. And
I think about, and all that's true. I specifically though think about with you lowering that barrier or you helping get over that hurdle, how much more effective and how many more fees they'll actually collect. Because when I show up and I'm like, I got to do all this and I got to do that.
There's an envelope I have to use now, and I don't carry cash anymore.
Or just that there's there's not a ranger there enforcing it, and so people are just like, I'm going to bypass this, or I'm going to roll the dice, or I'm just not going to care. Whereas if it's integrated into the app that they're likely using, I feel like just the sheer conversion rate of people actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, I think the conversion rate is going to go up because it's so seamless. And that, to me, is the biggest pitch to the county of like, hey, I see you guys are effectively getting 2% of people to actually pay. I bet you we can get more than that just by simply existing here and letting us handle your payment. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's probably saying to the county, you got to convince the county to like, hey, we just want to hold your money for you and we'll send it over to you. But
I mean, I know that
there's contracts. I get it.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound too difficult. I mean, because I just think about, like I said, the MKE Park app. I logged into it a couple of years ago. It was one platform behind the scenes. One day I was like, it asked me to create some new account. And I was like, no, I already have an account. Wait, this looks different. It was like an entirely different back end. And I don't know if it was a different contractor or maybe
it was bought out by somebody and now they're scamming you, and then they're putting up fake QR codes and stickers and scamming people that way now. But anyway,
that's fine. But I just think like the counties or places like that, they're not opposed to changing back ends if you give them a good reason,
right?
Or even having one. And if they don't have to monitor or do anything about it, they're going to be even more happy.
Well, you're exactly right. And so Josh is in the comments here talking about we want to lower the friction. Like, and he, he was just there for European Open and then traveled a bit in the Nordics. They had this experience where they went to a Swedish course. The only way to pay was if you had a Swedish phone number, because in Sweden they use this thing called Swish, which is kind of like PayPal.
Yep.
So he literally couldn't pay. And then they finished the round, and fortunately the pro shop was open, or the cafe was open, so they were able to go in and pay for the round. But again, it's just think about, we don't want to be the park rangers. We're not going to be out there trying to patrol people. Disc golf, I think, is still largely an honor system for a lot of things, and we're not trying to change the culture there. But at the same time, what other, activity do you go do that costs money where it's like you feel okay just sneaking in like all the time? Like that's not, for these people running businesses, like they need to make a living. And if people are constantly sneaking on and, not paying, like the course isn't going to exist anymore. I know that is a problem in some places. So
I tried to teach my kid the other couple of weeks ago about sneaking into another movie after you pay for one.
Yeah. I mean, that's maybe the only thing I can think of that I know people do. It's like you pay for one movie and then stay there all day.
And it's so much easier now, honestly, because I go into the Fandango app and it tells me what seats are open. And you're like, no one's bought this one. I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but
what I want is a is like an oversized UDisc like cardboard cutout that's attached to a handle, so I can go around like a ranger and like spank people. And like, are you did you pay? I could become the new ranger. UDisc? No, okay, maybe not. Anyway, yeah, I love it. Colin asks about how would paying through the app with shared properties like city and state parks. I mean, who's ever taken the money and like, just think, Colin, I think you're in Wisconsin, right? You know, right now you go to Dane County and you have Dane County parks in Madison area, and they have a county park system, which includes 2 or 3 of their parks, Capitol Springs, Token Creek, so on. And then you go to the city of Madison, they have a parks pass, which includes Elver, High Stand, and so on and so forth. So you're paying 2 different entities there. And then you go to Milwaukee County and you're paying that entity. I guess they all add up. But point being, and then you go to Sandy Point, and whether they offer just daily or,
reach out to the cousins.
Or annual pass.
Reach out to the cousins.
All of those, they're taking their payments, so you work with them all individually to get their cut, their whatever, or not even cut, their full amount. I mean, you're not concerned about a surcharge, or are you? Or a cut, or a small cut.
Well, there's processing fees,
yeah, I mean, there's processing fees; those are out of our control, like credit card fees. Of course, that's going to come out, and local taxes if they apply, which it depends. Right. This is very complicated. It depends on what state or country you're in, if sales tax applies to greens fees or not.
Sure.
So there's a lot of that stuff. I mean, the way it works is we use Stripe. Like, city makes, if it's a city, they would just make their account. They'd hook it to whatever bank account they want, and it just goes there.
Yeah, perfect.
We're just kind of facilitating the transaction.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it.
So it's quite easy. So for you as a person booking a tee time, once this is in more places, like, you'll just say, oh yeah, I want to pay with Apple Pay or Google Pay or my credit card or my, there'll be whatever options the course enables. So for the courses that are already on board, like, there's 10 or 20 payment options for a lot of them. Some of them only have 4 or 5 because that's what they want, but they can choose what they want.
Yeah, I guess this is going way off the rails, I know, but I keep thinking of, just the option of I'm going to keep score and play, and there's 5 of us. Can I pay for the other people? Am I just entering in a PDGA number? And then I think about how cool would it be to have basically a wallet, like my Google Wallet, have a wallet within UDisc of like, hey, you have the Dane County pass, you have the Milwaukee County pass, you know what I mean? Like, you've paid for these, if some form of receipt saying, hey, these are the passes that you've paid for the year,
or even integrating it to whatever your local, the Android or the Google Wallet, because you can put cards in there. Sure. Like, I've got things like that, but at that point,
I can tell you,
I say at that point, then Terry, but let's put gambling in it. We're going $5 around, Terry, so now I can send my UDisc wallet to your UDisc wallet.
Yes. Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
But for the courses that are already on board, most of them have season passes, and we built a really cool way to show your pass within UDisc. And so cool. You can just walk up and show them their pass. Like Crow Call, you get a discount at the pro shop if you have a certain pass. And so they just walk up and show them, and then they get their 15% off discs or whatever. I can't remember what the actual number is. And yeah, we've looked into Apple Wallet and Android Wallet integration. It's a little complicated, but I think we'll get there. So, I think there's a future where, if you've got season passes to 3 courses, it's really easy. But even without that, when you're booking, we already know you have a pass. So like, if you're booking at Crow Call and you have a pass, like, it's just free because you already have your pass. You can book up to, I think you can have like 6 simultaneous bookings at a time at Crow Call if you're a season pass holder. So you can book out, I want every Saturday at noon for the next month. And it's free.
I don't know. I think we need to get on board with Samui having our passes all in the system. Love it. I love it.
It'd be easier. Yeah. I mean, there's so many possibilities there. Like, we saw, Crow Call this year, we launched with them, and they were able to do their season passes and sell, a lot of them before they opened for the year. And that was great for them because they were like, cool, we just got some money that we can use to improve the course, in the week before it opens. And then when everybody comes, their pass is already good and they just play for free and we're good to go.
Maybe it's a dumb question.
It probably is.
I don't think it is. Can you now, or will you be able to, in a similar sense, offer club membership? Like buy pay for your local club. I think of that as similar to being a season pass
This is
at
kind
some
of like
places.
the thing I proposed a couple weeks ago to tie into the PDGA. Similar,
right?
Yeah.
Could I sign up for my local club easily right now with you guys?
Right now, no.
Okay.
He got real quiet. He said, "Right now, no." And then he shut up like a
you're describing things that are technically possible.
Oh, that's a good start.
This isn't fairy dust, Terry. Can you make it not rain during my tea time, Matt? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm very careful with the phrase. You know what you should do. I'm not one to throw around that phrase. My mind I'm really good at kind of just randomly thinking up crazy stuff.
That's what we do
from time to time, but not necessarily the practicality of implementing them or developing it. My friend Dave over at the Dyers Guild realizes just that.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, like we're always doing a lot of things, and the hardest thing for us always, as it has been for years, is figuring out like what the best thing to work on that's going to impact the most disc golfers is. So we're always having to weigh that, and there's always competing priorities, and we've been doing like so much advocacy work because we see getting more of these short courses in the ground, more courses in general in the ground, as the best way to get more people playing. And if more people play, then there's going to be bigger purses on the tour, and there's going to be more people using UDisc, and there's going to be more awareness of disc golf in general. And so when we look at clubs or tee times or whatever it is, we just really need to weigh that against like what impact will it have, what future do we want for disc golf. And we're a lot more mature than we were 10 years ago, and we're thinking about what should this look like 5 years from now, what should this look like 10 years from now. That's a really cool position to be in because we've been around for over 14 years now. And disc golf has continued to grow the whole time. And I think the future is really bright, despite some of the, doom and gloom I've seen kind of on the touring side of things. I don't think, I think that this is all temporary on that side, personal opinion. We'll rebound from that. But like the casual side and the base and the rec side is stronger than ever. So the more we can do to just keep growing that, like it will, it'll move its way up to the top end of the sport, and there will be just more growth all around. But we need to plant the right seeds now, and we need to be thinking about like, where do we want to see things in the future?
Yeah, what was I just gonna say? Sorry. I don't recall now. I got a lot of random thoughts swirling around in my head. Oh, no, that's what I was gonna ask. With all the assets and the tools and the resources that you guys provide for usually for free, I believe, whether it's personalized or it's already just on the site, tons of great information. Do people come to you asking for some form of fiscal support and sponsorship? And if so, what's the response to that? If somebody says, "Hey, I love what you guys are doing. I'd love to put up a course, and will UDisc sponsor it?" What's the response to that?
Well, we do get that request often. It is, disc golf is still pretty small in terms of like how many like companies that there are. It's tough for us because we truly are worldwide, and we have people that use the app everywhere, and we can't be everywhere, and we can't fund everything. So generally, the way that we can help best is by sharing data, giving tips, connecting people. We know a lot of people everywhere. And that's often one of our strengths is if we hear somebody's doing something or they're, looking for sponsorship for something or whatever it is, maybe we can connect them to somebody that can help. We're not really in a position to be giving money away. Most of our stuff is free. We're doing well. We're still growing, but we're not sitting on, piles of money that we can just give out to people. That would be great. We love that. But I still think, the age old thing of how do you get this outside money coming in, like that is where people need to be looking, I think, for sponsors. When you go ask a manufacturer or something to sponsor your event, they're also probably not going to give you money. They're probably going to say, we'll sell you discs at a discount. Or we'll give you, X number of players packs for free or something like that. And that's largely how, disc golf has been. It's all been kind of bankrolled by within the sport. And for us to really grow with, that sort of stuff, like I think it has to come outside. And frankly, all these cities, they have budgets for recreation. And I think what we're trying to do is reframe disc golf a bit to be a recreation activity. It can be a sport for some people. It can be an activity for some people. It can be a game for some people. It can be something people do once a year. But it needs to be framed as it's recreation, it's fitness, it's exercise. And then the cities are going to be like, oh yeah, we've got money for that. Like, of course we'll give you, $10,000 for 18 baskets. Like, that's nothing. A pickleball court costs 100 times more. Whatever it is, if they put in, 4 pickleball courts, that's probably significantly more than a really good disc golf course. So when you think about it, it's like there is public funding for this stuff. We just need them to be aware that there is demand. And that's what we're trying to do, is just build this awareness, share the real data, let them be just floored by seeing some of this stuff. Like I said before, they don't know how many people are playing horse. They don't even know how many people are playing pickleball half the time, unless you have to reserve the court. And even in that case, they don't know if it was 2 people or 4 people or whatever. So when we show them this stuff and they're like, this is real and there's more, they're just like, we don't have this data for any other sport. This is crazy. We want to support this. And, who do we write the check to? And there's even, there's a course in near my house that was 9 holes when I moved there. And then 2 years after I was there, it got expanded to 18. And I talked to the guy and he was like, we got this expanded to 18 by showing them the UDisc data. And they told us, based on that, this is the busiest park in the whole city. Just based on the UDisc data. And so here you go. And I think he asked for, I can't remember the exact number. It was something like he asked for $2,000 and they were like, here's 5.
Right.
Because they were just like, we know this is going to get used. This is taxpayer money and we know that they're going to use it. So here you go. And I'm not saying that, cities are awash with cash and have unlimited funding, but they certainly have budgets for recreation. That's absolutely something that just about anywhere is going to have.
Yeah, especially when you have the numbers to back it up and to prove your point and to be able to show them, like you said, when most of them don't have those types of stats and details and backing, and we can actually do that. By hearing you say you want to sponsor my new 9-hole, my new 9-hole short course.
If you get a new 9-hole short course, we'll make sure that Matt at least bumps it up one place. Wherever it is, he'll just nudge it a little bit.
If it's in 78th, he could get it to 77th for me.
Basically, if you're lucky.
Okay,
I'll come to the grand opening. How about that?
That I do like. It's funny. I was just looking at another 9-hole that I'm very partial to in southeastern Wisconsin. That's rated somewhat high. Red Fox.
Yeah. But it's connected to...
No. Red Fox is its own standalone 9-hole course.
It's in the same park. And
no, I would think it would qualify, except for the frickin' hole 3 downhill hole 3 is 308 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Every other hole qualifies.
Yeah.
And then it made me think, should we shorten that? Should we shorten that hole?
Pull it to like 299?
No, to 289.
289, yeah.
289 or 296.
296.
So. 96.
The funny thing is, I looked at the course we played growing up. It's an 18-hole course, but do you remember what?
Valley View?
No. Growing up, we grew up in Appleton, so Plowman Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. That would be nowhere near. There's a bunch of over 300.
I know, but the average hole is 293.
Oh, I was going to say
because it was 5,280 feet growing up,
right?
And it was 18 holes, so it was an average of 293.
Yeah, but hole 1's
feet.
like 496, and hole 13 was like 397 downhill. So
yeah. But there were a ton of short
holes.
Yeah, and it's 18 holes. But.
And it's 18 holes, but. Yeah, I don't know. I want to shorten Red Fox hole 3 now, so it could maybe qualify.
Do it.
Get on the list. That's the thing too. Is like when we put out these lists, like people tell us that they're planning travel around this kind of stuff too, and it's really cool to see that. Like I'm sure you've seen it and heard the stories too. It's like the more we can do to make people aware that there's good courses out there, whether it's a 9-hole course or an 18-hole course or whatever. Like people are going to go play it.
Yeah, I mean two of the higher rated courses in southeastern Wisconsin are Gray Fox, and then 3 miles away is Silver Fox. Both, are like blue level courses. However, there's also a 9-hole that is standalone that is Red Fox. I know, clever naming scheme they had. But anyway, the 9-hole Red Fox was the original course, and it stands alone with just one set of tees and pins. And like I said, it's just one hole away from, and I think it's highly rated. So when people come to that area, is my point, they typically will play all 3. They'll warm up on Red Fox, You play 18 at Gray Fox, and then if you're looking for a little bit of a beating, then you go the 3 miles over to Silver Fox, and that's a full day in southeastern Wisconsin. So
well, now you know what you need to do.
Yeah,
shorten that hole.
I need those people. I need to get on that list. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I should have looked you guys up. I was in Milwaukee recently for one day, and I played Estabrook.
Oh, nice! I just played there 2 days ago myself.
Oh, did you? You went over?
Yeah, I went over there, and
it was a fun course.
It's not bad.
I wish it was there when we were in college. So that is literally just a few minutes from UW Milwaukee, where Johnny and I went to college. And at that time, talk about a feel good story. It was not safe to go into that park at all.
Really?
Like you at night, especially, but it was just not a safe part of town or a safe park to be in. And then 2010 or so, disc golf. We got into Milwaukee County Parks after on some goodwill, and had other courses within the Parks Department, and they let us turn that into a disc golf course. And now it services a lot of college students from both Marquette and UW Milwaukee and the whole Lower East Side of Milwaukee. But fun little course.
Yeah, I had a good time.
But it's like 19
it was like 95 degrees,
holes
but...
or 20 holes. And I was like, why is this thing 20 holes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 20, I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, I was happy. I didn't want to be done at 18, so it was good.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And those last ones are relatively long, too. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else
bogeys.
we need to know from you? Any other secrets or things going on that we should know before we let you go?
Oh, I mean, there's always a lot going on. I think, we're in the midst of many, many different things. I think we've been, rebuilding some stuff as always, and looking towards the future, and just kind of thinking about what we want stuff to be down the road. But yeah, we've been, this list that we just put out, this is the only new list that we put out this year. We always do like the world's best courses and top courses in each country and state and things like that. But this is the only new list we put out this year. And that's kind of a statement, I think, from us, because we feel this is so important to drive more awareness of these shorter courses and trying to get more people advocating for them. Can't remember if I said before, but we had a team member. Yeah, did I mention the 9-hole thing, where it's like the cities didn't even realize that 9-hole courses were a possibility. And that's just a great example of how much more there is to learn from the general public and the cities that are the ones deciding what happens, that disc golf can exist in different forms. Like there's still a lot to do. But yeah, in terms of us at UDisc, things are going well. We've got lots of people working on lots of things, lots of smart people that have dedicated their days towards nothing but disc golf. And I hope that you can continue to see cool new things coming. We're always putting out new versions and fixes and lots of stuff on the web, and lots of things people don't know about. Just because it's sometimes we're doing this advocacy work, and we're trying to build more awareness and figure out how we can share data with more people, and doing as much outreach as we can. So, if you're in the position to want to get a new course, or know somebody that does, or you work with a city or a park and rec board or something like that, certainly get in touch. You can always reach out to hello@udisc.com or help@udisc.com. And it'll get to the right person. But mainly just thank you for everything everybody does for disc golf. I think we're all in this together. Like I said before, we don't do a lot of self-promotion because that's not really what we're interested in. We truly just want disc golf to get bigger. And a lot of the decisions we've made in the last 5 or 6 years have been with that goal in mind, more than anything else. If disc golf grows, we all grow.
Right.
And if more people are playing, we get more courses. So don't be afraid of more people playing. That just means that more courses will come. But they won't come for free. We need to do some work to get the courses actually installed. So bring a new friend to play. That's my best tip. Look at this list. And if you don't have a course near you on this list, open the UDisc app. On the courses tab, there's a filter in the top left. You can set it to courses that take less than an hour to play, or courses that are fewer than 9 holes, or whatever you want. There's a lot of filtering capability. There's even a way to filter to just show the courses on this list on the map. So you can, if you scroll down a bit, there's one that says best short courses. So you can see all those. Find a new person, bring one of your friends out. I think all of us would like more friends that play disc golf. That's a great way to make it happen. Bring them somewhere they're going to have fun.
Yeah, or anyone I can pass off Johnny V on to. You should go beat somebody else's bestie. Let's help. You did the UDisc dating app, friend app. We'll get you transferred over.
I mean, we've been pitched everything at this point, and that's one that we've heard a few times. And certainly
I'm sure.
not going to happen right now.
Well, I mean, honestly, kind of, you think about it, you're like, I'm looking for a friend to play disc golf with. Who's available in my area? Like, I can only imagine the downsides and why I doubt we'll ever see something like that. Like, it's just swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Oh, swipe right on that guy.
Yeah, you already nailed it. It's that's a bit risky.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Real quick on the board, someone says on the website, it says you'll be posting more roles in summer of 2026 for jobs. I'm assuming he's talking UDisc, not Smashbox. Do you have an idea of how many roles that there will be open? Give us here's your free Indeed offering or Monster.com offering. Are you guys looking for specific developers or non-developers? What are some of the employment opportunities or not at UDisc right now?
Well, right now we have no open positions.
Okay.
I will say I can't give you a definitive answer because it's something that we're actively discussing. So we'll see. But at the moment, there's nothing open. You can, if you go to udisc.com/jobs, that's where it would be posted. We would also post on social media and Reddit and all the other nice places where disc golfers exist. But just make sure that, if you are interested, like you would know. If we were hiring, we would definitely be advertising it because we've had good success bringing in a lot of really smart people, and it's just like I said before, I always feel just so honored and humbled to be surrounded by the people that we have here. Like truly, we have like a really excellent team, really, really just smart people that are putting nothing but effort towards thinking about what disc golf should be in the future. I think, we've matured a ton in terms of, it used to be we were building an app, right? We were building an app, we were doing scoring for the tour, and that was our focus. It was scoring and it was app. And we've kind of evolved to do a lot more than that now, where we're not like, that's not even our main focus a lot of the time. Like the app is great. We're still actively updating it all the time, constantly. There's probably new versions coming out at least once a week in most cases, because we're getting more efficient at doing things like that. But a lot of our energy is going towards thinking about the future. And that's why this list exists, because we really feel strongly that getting more short courses and just more courses in general is the way to grow. So for the jobs thing, keep an eye on it. We'll have news once there's news to share. But I have nothing to share right now.
Okay.
Can I ask one slightly awkward question?
Oh,
you ask whatever you want, JVD.
I
haven't talked to you guys in a while.
I think if you didn't just hear what he said,
I know where this is going.
He disqualified both of us from working there. He's talking about smart people. I think we're disqualified. Go on.
No, I'm thinking like we're seeing. You mentioned I jokingly said I could have vibe coded that app, and you said you guys are a real development team, obviously.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to like throw shade at vibe coders.
Not at all. Not at all. It's fine. It's fine. I will fully admit I vibe code quite a bit. What I was wondering is, have you guys thought about any sort of AI integration into UDisc? Not necessarily behind the scenes, but front end. We're seeing more and more competitors, people that are looking to do things in the disc golf, like
Flipped. Did they advertise this weekend?
Sure. Whatever it is.
I feel some crossover, but go on.
But in general, like, do you see any use for it? Like in the app, like what, being able to talk to the app and be like, hey, hey UDisc, I'm looking for a course near me, and have it pop up and says, okay, John, based on your crappy skill, you should probably play this course.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we use AI for a lot of things. Like no business that's building stuff isn't using it. Like it's a tool. So that's all I really need to say. Like as a developer, like you use the tools that are available to you. What I was saying before is we're not just like, hey, ChatGPT, build this feature and release it to production. Like that's vibe coding. That would be very scary. In terms of like in the app, like certainly,
Skip base has to go down real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's insanely useful. It's changing the world. It has changed the world. We've, even our round rating stuff, the world rankings we used to do for the tour 4 or 5 years ago, like that used AI. That was a long time ago. I mean, we've been doing that stuff and using it as a tool for a long time. In the app, certainly I'm sure that someday that will be a possibility. There's apps I really enjoy using these days that have things like that are just super useful. You can cull a lot of data and come up with a useful insight very quickly. And I think that that's certainly in the future, but it's not the current priority. But yeah, I would love, we've talked for years, because when you first get the app and install it, you get a few onboarding questions and it asks you about like your skill level and how, what you're looking to get out of disc golf and things like that. And I think, someday we'd love to take that and use it for more than we do right now. Or, like you said, being able to talk to it. I think voice is becoming a lot more common of an interface for stuff because it's gotten a lot better. It's past the, Siri is still not great, but it's probably going to get better. And I think,
right? September.
like Gemini, obviously, there's a lot of good things out there now that work really well. And I think voice is an interface that is going to be more common, especially, we have to think about too, like, what does a post-smartphone world look like? Because someday that probably won't be a thing. Like, what is it going to be?
This guy, honestly, we played our first round together 2 weeks ago and forever, and he's like, there's not another app I've ever used on my watch that's as useful as this UDisc one. Like, dude, it's so easy. I love it. And I'm just like, oh, you shill.
I did say that.
I swear to God he said that.
To be fair, then, I think I followed up and later thought or said, God, how great would it be if I don't even have to do it on my watch, if I could just now do it on my Meta glasses and just say, just start scoring and say, Johnny, triple bogey, Terry, birdie, or whatever, so that my Meta glasses could then integrate into my my watch or my phone or whatever. So I'm sure you've had that conversation. Again, I'm not going to what you should do, but I was thinking that. I'm wearing my glasses more and more. I'm recording some of the shots that I have, and then thought, man, it'd be kind of nice. I could be so lazy, I don't even have to now touch my watch. I could just blurt it out into the into my Meta glasses.
Yeah, and then I wanted to turn around and be like, Terry, we saw you kick your disc out of the woods. Are you counting that as a stroke?
No data available. No data available.
Yeah, football, your glasses stop.
It starts calling me on shit. Yeah. You are not outside 10 meters, jackass.
Falling putt.
No, I mean, I think for me, like, I'm looking forward to like the human like brain interface. Like it's just, you think, put in a birdie and it just does it. That's what I want.
Great, because I think all of mine are birdies.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. There's John. We'll finally get Johnny's dream round, and then there'll be like the reality round of what you were thinking versus what happened. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I love to think about that stuff, but it's we got to work in the environment that we have, and I think we're doing the best we can. And voice. I've explored that in the past 10 years ago. Yeah. I think I explored just saying what your score is, and it worked then. It could work now, but is that easier? I don't know.
No,
it might be. It may not be as easy as just pulling your phone out and going, putting it away, or tap on your watch and you're done. Yeah. So we'll see. There's going to be a lot of innovation in the like interacting with your devices space, I think, because AI is becoming so good, and there's different types of devices. There's all the AI pins that people can wear, and cameras on glasses that can tell what you're doing and annotate the real world. Like, there's so many cool things that could be done, but we'll have to see. The percentage of people that have Meta glasses versus a smartphone is probably closer to 0 than to 1.
I like that people are calling them pervert glasses lately too. Like that's honestly a new
thing.
Here,
look at mine. No,
does it have a light when you're recording or something? Like,
mine do. And
yours has that weird big duct tape on it though. I don't know why.
And that's exactly it. Every time I explain it, I always say, if you're recording, it has a blinking light. And if you take a picture, it just blinks once. But if you're actively recording something, it has a blinking light. Unfortunately, people are finding out all the workarounds to deactivate, even though Meta is trying to stop you from doing that. But yeah, you can deactivate the light and or block it.
A little black epoxy would cover that right up.
Well, there's some things that work and some things that don't. And unfortunately, that's becoming a thing. And I always say, my light will blink because I'm not a creep, right? Like, I'm not... No, wait a minute. No, but yeah, that's the one thing I hate. And it's funny enough, that's the number one question that people ask with the glasses is like, can you turn off that light or whatever? And it's like, no, I'm good with it on. I'm not trying to be a weirdo and yeah, not let people know that I'm recording something. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's a side note.
I know I was a big nerd as a kid, still am, but Star Trek: The Next Generation was my favorite show. And if anybody's familiar, once they got to the movies, Geordi, he had the visor.
Yes.
But in the movies, he had contacts. And that's what I've always dreamed about, having like contact lenses that are smart and can do what the glasses do in a better way. Like, that would be so cool. But
I'm not going to say that if I walked about 30 feet that way that I've got 2 Star Trek pins. That one of them used to actually make the noise when I pushed on it. They were magnets that I got at a Star Trek convention in Appleton.
That's so cool.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. I'm not a nerd either.
I dressed up as Captain Picard once for Halloween. So
ooh, you and Steve Dodge, right? Steve
really?
has the well. Steve has a full Star Trek outfit, and because of his wonderful hairline, he looks like Picard, right?
That's true. Yeah. Maybe in like 20 years I can do that.
There you go, Matt.
Ooh, low-key burn. All right, Matt, thank you so much. Of course, you or anyone else from the crew always welcome here to talk about things going on, whether it's updates or new developments or anything in between. We appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. As we've kind of danced around, I think so many people don't even realize just how much of a resource that you and the entire team and the app and everything else that you guys offer. I don't think people even realize. They don't even know what they don't know. And so with that, read the articles, go on UDisc, and search for some things. You guys probably have the answer out there somewhere when it comes to course details, specifics, development, all those types of things. And so I would encourage everyone to go check it out. So, but thank you for coming on to further explain this new list, because I'm sure plenty of people read the headline and think best short courses, and then probably had every question that we just had tonight, but now they're officially answered from you for those that are too lazy to read like me. So we appreciate you explaining it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been too long. Hopefully I can come back. I don't know how long it's been. I feel like it's been like 2 or 3 years.
It might have been.
Well, like one time one time, wasn't it like episode 300 where you guys shut us down?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the lights went out, all the power went out.
Oh, that's right.
Whatever episode that was. I know that. I mean,
that was 300. That was
300.
Yeah, that was our 300.
So
we're on what, 617 now?
Yeah. And I don't think that wasn't our last one we had you, but yes, you guys are welcome anytime. We're glad to have you.
Always love to hear about the new, I always love to look at release notes for the apps when they update. Weird that way, but it's always like, what new feature do they have? Like, what can I play with? Oh, cool, a new scoring feature, or oh, now they're doing Wolf or whatever, and it's like all these things that are really cool.
We haven't done Wolf yet.
I know you haven't. I know you haven't. I threw it out there because I'm sure some people keep asking. So
yeah, people ask for all sorts of things. But
yeah, exactly.
I'll keep asking.
UDisc dating coming soon.
No.
All right, Matt Kruger, everyone from UDisc. Thank you to the entire team. It was great to, like I said, see a couple of your teammates over there in Estonia, and everything that you guys have going on is benefiting and growing disc golf, and for that we very much appreciate you. Have a great night.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Matt.
guys. See you next time.
Care. See ya.
That guy's part of a good organization,
doing some good work out there.
Honestly, I don't know if we've got a few good foundations that do some really good work. Obviously, like UPlay, Paul Macbeth Foundation, you've got Edge.
Yep.
I don't think people realize, because they're not a nonprofit, but they might do more for the sport than any of those other ones. Even the Paul Macbeth Foundation, which I think is doing, they're all doing great things, but we talk about the Paul Macbeth Foundation more than the rest of them.
Right.
UDisc might be doing more behind the scenes than any of them for the overall sport of disc golf.
Right.
Each one of the other ones has a nice focus, and it feels like they are just like, hey, let's grow the whole pie.
Yeah, and which is awesome, because they're obviously key partners with some of those organizations, like you just mentioned, like the Paul Macbeth Foundation, to be able to go in and actually do some of the demographic and data and back end, analysis and whatnot. And then when you're looking for that worldwide exposure, you're putting in a course in some random place. what better way to promote it than to have it on, the app where everyone's looking for courses. So I love how they partner, the things that they do. Of course, having the, Throw for More and partnering with the Paul Macbeth Foundation and doing that to raise money for the foundation. I love how closely tied we all are to a number of different projects and initiatives. Mm-hmm. So thank you to all of the UDisc crew out there. I was going to say my pro membership every year keeps renewing. Even some years when I I do 3 rounds in a year.
I don't think I've personally kept a UDisc round in probably 2 to 3 years. Now I've gone out with other people that do it, and they put me on the card. Like this weekend, or last weekend you did, and when I go out with Steve, he usually keeps score and puts it on his UDisc, and then it gets sent to me. But I can't remember the last time I went out and logged around because I don't go out by myself very often. So
yeah,
it's just interesting. Except for obviously, I'll do it when I play tournaments. I will a lot of times log the PDGA and then sometimes
you do your best work.
Log myself.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it in the sense, too, even though I'm not playing that much, more and more lately when I'm playing casually, I am keeping my own rating, so to speak, a rating system for it, and of these individual courses. And then, obviously, it's just a matter of, one of the things that I started doing, similar to what I've done on Untapped, totally different with beer, is
sure, Terry.
I'm setting a rating threshold within my own notes in there, so that I know if I would personally come back. I leave myself a personal note in there of, and it could have a high or a low rating for the course, but I want to give it my own rating so that if I'm in that area again, I know if I want to come back or if I'd bring others to it. And that's what I think has been additionally useful for me as well. So, and of course, you're creating a log and blah, 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 and all those other fun things. And nothing for nothing, although this is a little bit kind of higher level purpose, even if you have nothing to do with it, in the sense of what it's doing for you, it's helping disc golf.
It is.
Because
which is why
it's creating those metrics and that data and everything else for others to look at, so that when you are randomly in some other state and you're at some other course, you logging your round, even if it's just the simple logging of I played it.
That's exactly it.
Without going into all the details, but that you played it, that still is very useful for the overall metrics of UDisc and then what's presented. So for that reason alone, it's a good idea. It's kind of like, reviewing a restaurant or anything else where it's just having any data is better.
I want to dig into UDisc stats to find the dumbest things.
Oh, I would love that list.
No, I was thinking who has played the course furthest away from their house? Just think
yeah, sure. Some of the really bizarre.
I live in Wisconsin. What's the furthest course from me? Something clearly on the opposite side of the world, but I'm curious, how can I play the furthest course from my house? And is that in, Asia somewhere? If I look at the furthest course from your house, John, is in somewhere here, and then find go out from there and be oh, I want to play this one because it's the furthest. So I'm curious, who has played the course that's furthest from their house? Is that someone that's played something that's 4,380 miles from their house or whatever that might be? So
I'm Googling what is the farthest place away from me if I live in Milwaukee. And for us, so in an indirect way, we could get this figured out.
Those are the dumbest things. People might want to go.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the dumbest reviews of this course is so stupid. I can't get over the fence on hole 7, and it's
no, I don't care about that because there's the forever people that are still doing disc golf course review that have this high bar of I am a 1,000 course reviewer and my quality should mean more than the guy who's only reviewed three courses. Yeah. There's this whole debate about quality versus quantity, and whatever that is, I don't really care.
Okay,
honestly.
So the closest major city to us, surprisingly.
The furthest major city, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. Well, the closest major city to the farthest point away would be Perth, Australia. Okay. Apparently, because it says the farthest place on Earth from you in Milwaukee is a location in the southern Indian Ocean, about halfway between Western Australia and Madagascar, because the Earth is a sphere. Wait a minute! Breaking news! It says on here, the Earth is a sphere.
That's quite an assumption. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
Google, you
but so, like,
son of a...
So the
anyway,
furthest...
you can find your exact opposite point, your antipode, using Antipode's map. And I'm going to click on that. But anyway, so it says, and then that's why I said it says that the closest major city to your farthest point
and that
is
might be
Perth.
300, 400, 500, 600 miles closer based on where you land. That's why I'm curious. Who's the guy who's played the furthest? Because you're talking about just racking up like a course and just saying, I played this course. Who's played? I did see a funny post where these two people probably used that website and got on opposite sides of the earth, and then each put a piece of bread down. They said they had an earth sandwich. So they did it at the same time, which I thought was kind of funny. And
I've been involved in some sandwiches before. Not that. That's a different kind for sure.
I guess. All right, we're going to get back to the U.S. women's discussion a little bit. As we said, congratulations to Silva Sarnen, who was able to close out the round with a few layups, thanks to the unfortunate meltdown of Owen Scoggins. And Owen went on to talk about it in her post-round interview, which I thought was a great interview, where she just flat out said, "I was nervous." Which to me, flat out says she didn't play well because of her nerves, which you wouldn't think that your current world champion would have those nerves, but it just goes to show you that she even said, I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to have like this.
Right.
Where she's up 8 strokes in the second round, and then she just, she literally overthought it. Her brain didn't let her body do what it should have done. And part of that was poor putting, because that's just, ugh.
I didn't watch all of the broadcast, but I guess the question is, was the graphic run that talks about biggest comebacks in FPO history? Because we know of Evelina.
I don't remember if the graphic was run, but there was talks of it.
Yeah, so I mean, this has to be like the third.
No, I think this is the number 1 now officially.
No, it can't be, because there's been like an 8-stroke comeback.
This was an 8-stroke comeback.
Oh.
So I think overall furthest behind, not final round furthest behind, but furthest total behind, because it was the second round.
Okay, we can make numbers say
exactly,
Okay, but final round it was not, because like Kristen caught Evelina
correct
at European Open a couple years ago,
but
and so on and so forth. But this was one of the larger comebacks in a final round for sure.
Yes.
And as you read those top couple of women, we can then talk about on the FP40 side what kind of comeback.
Yeah, so
go ahead, close it out.
Third place, Missy Gannon, her first podium of the season, surprisingly.
Okay.
But
right.
as we know, what season is it? It's not summer. It's Gannon season. So look out, Missy Gannon and Gannon Burr, because this is when Missy decides that she's going to maybe show up more often and win a bunch of money. So Missy Gannon starting to come into form right at some of the best time of the season. One of our really young players, MJ Gager, just phenomenal, taking 4th place, 24 under par, shooting a 9 down, getting an eagle on hole 7. Just the future is now. Followed up with Smashbox guest who we had on a few months ago, Addison Woodard. So, both of those combined age, Terry, way younger than us.
Half
not half.
Half your age. No.
I mean, individually, no. In 4th place as well, tied with Addison and MJ, was Ella Hansen. Ella just, I talked about it last week that I kind of assumed Ella was going to have a good round, because this is the type of course where you can, the forehand-backhand combo was significant.
Right.
And it did show. Holland Hanley, who I personally thought was going to perform a little better at this event, took 7th place, but, nothing to sneeze at. Holland just can't stay away from the bogeys. It's not her lack of birdies, but she just seems to get herself into some trouble. 8th place, Rebecca Don. 9th place, Kat Murch. 10th place, Kylie Kohut. So that is your top 10 for the 2026 U.S. Women's in the FPO division. An exciting round, great course. I saw a lot of people talking about, can we get this course on the tour? The answer is no.
Right. Because
there's not a good MPO course yet. Not to say they can't put one there, but this particular course, the MPO would destroy.
Right.
And you'd be talking like a lot of players at 16 to 14. It's just not really. Now, if they could stretch it out, add more tee pads, move some baskets, maybe more difficult positions or something for MPO, you could have something like this here, but I don't think this is the course.
No, it's not. It's 7,300 feet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to stretch it out.
Yeah.
You need to do some things. Now, the course itself is beautiful.
Sure.
It is a great FPO course. So I just don't think we're going to see this on the tour more than a major type event or a big A tier. Or like maybe a Jomez series kind of stop. So I would love to see a course like this on the tour, but it needs to be longer for the MPO. I think for FPO this is great, but for MPO. All right, we're going to go talk real quick about FP40. An amazing comeback. Twice, I think you could call it. Lisa Fakis. After the first round, Jen Allen had a 5-stroke lead. And then suddenly Lisa Fakis jumps back up, catches up, shoots 4 strokes better than Jen, and ends up only 1 stroke down. But then after the third round, Jen comes out to another big lead. And we're talking the same course here. It's not like they're flip-flopping courses. So then suddenly Jen has a 6-stroke lead with an ace. Awesome. A phenomenal, like 466, one of the longer aces you'll ever see.
For sure.
Slightly downhill, but it was blind. It was there was video released of it. You can't really see the disc go in the basket. You only see the spotter waving his flags or her flags. And it just a great moment, only to be followed up by Lisa Fakis shooting 7 strokes better than Jen Allen in the final round, getting an ace herself on hole 14. And, she won by a single stroke, but it was a little, did you watch the final hole? Unfortunately, Jen just had.
I did not actually.
One of the worst approaches maybe you'll ever see.
Oh, really? I did not see that.
It looked like so hole 18 is downhill, 545 feet. Some of the, Jen has the ability to blast it past this hole.
Right.
Or to park it. And it looked like she laid up on it for safe. She wanted to lay up, and then you have a much easier forehand or hyzer to get to the basket for an easy birdie, quote unquote.
Right.
Unfortunately, Jen, she laid up, and then it looked like she was kind of in a slightly awkward position based on how she was throwing. She wasn't quite sure. She took some time, and then she just dirted it. That thing, it was downhill, and it still only went what looked to be about 100 feet. She just misplayed it. And that allowed Lisa to be able to, who threw, her layup, allowed her to just par the hole in order to take the championship.
That's
so
crazy.
It was exciting until the end, because I remember looking at hole 16 and being like, oh, Lisa has a 2-stroke lead going into hole 17 with 2 to go. I'm like, cool. I think I even told somebody, yeah, Lisa's got this. And then I sat down for dinner. I quickly ate my food, and then I walked back in so I could watch more of the FPO. I think it was lunch. I walked back in, and suddenly it was like, they're on hole 18 and it's tied up. And I was like, what the? How do you lose 2 strokes? And then sure enough, Lisa bogeyed, and Jen Allen had birdied. The live broadcast cut over to FP40 at that point. We were able to kind of keep up with them. Just a great battle. And it was great to see Lisa finally get her major.
Nice. Congrats to Lisa Fakis.
Third place, Karina Knowles, tied with Sandra Richardson and Stephanie Vincent. Do we want to go through?
Yeah, let's go ahead and read off the winners of the other divisions.
Okay, we can
listed.
I think we can easily do that here. Let's talk FP50. You've got Margaret Patterson winning this one.
Quite handedly.
Yep.
Margaret, the mother of Kyle Creekhouse, who was a Rookie of the Year contender last year.
There's a few mothers that won here this weekend.
There's some mother huckers out there.
There are some other. No, because we saw that Raven Klein's mom won her division in the FA70, I believe it was. But FP55, JK crushes 20 strokes over Kim King.
Kim with an ace on the 13th. Congrats to her.
FP60, Elaine King, the legend, wins, shooting a 9 under par on the course that they played, besting Kelly Schutzberg by 2 strokes.
Congrats. FC65.
Janet Cranshaw winning by 9 strokes. FP70, you've got Sandy Gast, the legend as well, over Lori Cloyes Chupa. So that is your FP divisions. FA1, a playoff between Kayla Hess and Eva Lusenko. Eva, I keep forgetting, but I'm going to have to go back and watch the video because I know I watched at one point where she introduced herself, and I was just like, I got to put this to memory, and I can't, so sorry. Who just won AM Worlds.
Right.
Now, Kayla Hess comes out and says, all right, how about I take this major? and it only took one extra hole. Kayla had an eagle on a 394-foot hole. So it's hard to, if you're Ava, you're like, she eagled. I birdied. I mean, what are you going to do about it? But ultimately, a great battle between two of our young players that are just going to be forces to be reckoned with in the next few years, including third place. Real quick, I'll mention Peyton Kohut, as we talked about the other Kohut earlier. So we have a great future in the women's divisions coming up. And these are just the U.S. players, because we didn't see hardly any of the young European players come over this year, because it was just not, the timing didn't seem like it worked out. In FA 40, you've got Christy Lewis winning this one. FA 50, Clarissa Bingham wins this. FA 55, Becky Porfoy taking this one down by 10 strokes. FA 60, Kimberly Adams by a single stroke. That she picked. Oh,
it was a battle, yeah.
Yeah, it was a battle. She was able to bogey, probably lay up on the final hole in order to get that one stroke.
Just squeaked it out though. Yeah. Things got very tight.
It did. I don't think you want to bogey your final hole to get within one, but
no. But 8-stroke swing to not in her favor, but still lets her get away with the victory by 1. Congrats.
That's right. FA 65, you've got Helen Kostoff winning this one. Congratulations, Helen. FA 70, as we said, Tracy Ringer, who is Raven Klein's mother. Yep. So she wins. So we've got a major champion. FA 2. What is FA 2? That's
intermediate.
Oh, like an intermediate division?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, what we would typically call intermediate.
Okay, yeah. Lisa On wins this one. FA 3, you've got Abigail Perlov winning this one. FA 4, Lori Morrill taking this by 19 strokes. FJ 18, Eden Fletcher, which is funny. FJ 18, half of the FA 1 players could have played this division. Yeah, right. And, it's just pick and choose which division you want to win.
Yeah, shooting a 12 under in that final round with a bogey. And I believe it was Eden's birthday as well. So congratulations to her on winning on her birthday a major. So pretty cool.
So many young players. FJ 15, which some of our leaders could have played as well. Some of our FPO players could have played in this division. Gianna Locido wins this one.
Barely edging out Genevieve Davis out of Wisconsin.
Oh, I didn't even look at who the second place was.
She took second. Correct.
And FJ 12, you have Hayden Harper taking this one down very handily.
Yes, by 28.
By 28.
Including a 13 under with a bogey on the final round.
Yeah, Hayden is one of our future stars as well.
Sure.
She is ready to, probably play in a division, FJ 12. I think she's looking at the FJ 15 division soon, hopefully.
Or better, as she's already 871 rated. Congrats.
Correct.
All right, congrats to them. Congrats to the event. Obviously, we'll just quickly gloss over the fact that it was marred a little bit with the weather, which is not something that the TDs can do
only for the FBO and FB40.
Correct.
Because they were the ones on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, the ones up on the mountain. But so great perseverance for everybody, the dedication, the effort. In some worlds, I'll just say, commentators and media crews and so many people thinking, oh, this is going to be a slightly easier week because it's just one round. Obviously, we're used to a morning round with FPO and then an afternoon round with MPO. That's the standard for 98% of the other events this year. And so you get to this event, and it's still, obviously, it's a major, so it's treated even with greater respect in that sense, but it still is a lesser load overall. Not this week. Not when you're talking about 12 and 14 hours to complete a round of golf. So a huge shout out to everybody. I saw nothing but positive comments coming from the FPO players saying that they thought everything was handled as best as it could, and clearly weather can't be controlled. So, yes. Thank you to Rob, who we had on here a few weeks ago, and the entire staff and crew for putting on the event the way you did. Love to see it. So nice. Anything else of note? I mean, that's to me that was the most important thing clearly going on was our action there.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if there was any other real big events. I didn't even bring up the schedule.
It doesn't matter.
Look, because
we don't even care.
Yeah. No. All right,
this week, as you just mentioned, coming up this weekend will be the Jomez series. What does the reg look like? I know I was trying to keep an eye on it at one point as to what it.
Gannon Burr's going to be there. I know that. Well, he's scheduled to be there. I would assume he's going to show up. He doesn't seem like the kind to not show up after after registering. Oh, geez.
Why don't you hit the control button? Too little find.
Because I don't feel like it. I'm just gonna
scroll, keep scrolling.
It's
working well.
Oh, I can't even find it here.
I know. There's only a different way.
Jomez. There we go. Champions Landing. Dang. Okay. This weekend,
quick search by rating shows us
Gannon Burst playing. The second best player out there right now, according to rating, is Joel Freeman at 1040. So you have a big gap. In theory, 23 ratings points between Gannon and Joel would equal maybe two and a half to three strokes per round.
And again, Gannon's in front of everybody ratings wise.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's whatever. After Joel, you've got Parker Welk, Jaden Rye, Matty O, Carter Aarons, Ryan Mulzeler, and GT Hancock. So you've got. I mean, depending on how you want to look at it, you have the best player in the field. You've got the best player in the world there. But after that, we're missing a lot of that top tier players. They're taking the week off, getting ready for
Or there's another, I believe there is a number of people playing in the Go Throw Masters Invitational over there at, it's a Go Throw number 8 tour.
That's at the
Eagles Crossing. And I was just going to see if I could take a quick look.
I don't know if there's a registration list for that.
You would think that would be a good idea to see. Go Through Tour, all events. I don't know if there's anything I can do that gives me information. Okay, I see the things are going on in terms of okay, yeah, you're right. I don't necessarily
I had heard someone else had looked for that, and yeah, correct. These are not sanctioned
at all.
It might be on UDisc somewhere, like on the UDisc thing that they were doing.
All right, well, I'm not going to do any more work.
Let's call Matt up and ask.
No, I was just going to say I'm not doing any more work for it if it's going to be that tough.
It's
so best of luck to anyone that's there playing and throwing. Obviously, one of the premier destinations and courses in the world, and yeah, good luck.
It was kind of humorous that after Owen's unfortunate finish to the round, someone was asking like, "Oh, I wonder what she's going to do tonight to make herself feel better." And
Drink beer?
No, I said she's probably going to drive to Emporia.
Yeah, maybe.
Like with getting done so fast earlier in the day that you don't expect. Owen's the type of person that's going to be like, "Cool, I can make it like 3/4 of the way to Emporia tonight, and then I can be putting in the morning." To whatever. So that's what I had said. I'm like, no, Owen's not the type that's probably going to sit there and try to drown her troubles. She's her and Justin are going to be driving to the next event to get there, which Owen is on her way, or is probably there already. But she is the highest rated player at the Jomez series in the FPO, followed up by Katrina Allen, Haiti Lina, and Chandler Ray. Yeah. And then Kylie Kohut. So
15 hours is roughly the drive time from Salt Lake City over to Emporia, Kansas.
All right, so maybe they got halfway that
roughly
night.
1,000 miles.
You're done by like 3:00. You probably drive for 5, 6, 7 hours.
At least, yeah, definitely. And she was out on the course Monday, I'm sure, practicing. So
that's just the way she is. We were talking, and they were like, "Oh no, like what we've seen this in the FPO field before, where someone starts kind of getting the yips with their putts." And I just said, I'm like, "Owen's fine." And sure enough, on hole 18, she walked up to like a 25 or 27 foot slightly uphill putt and just jammed it to finish the course after Silva had laid up. And it's like this.
I'm not worried.
No, and that's what I said. I said I am not worried about Owen. She will putt her way out of any mental issues she has. This was all just nerves and her brain not talking to her hand, as she said, because of those nerves. But she's just. Yeah, it was funny watching her just walk up and then jam a 25-foot uphill putt. And you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's Owen. Okay, I get it. phone's not broken anymore now that things are.
I mean, I know, of course, she's the number one putter in the world, and we give her all this credit because it's due. Even she sometimes has bad days. It's very shocking, and it seems out of place. But yeah, once in a while, she has bad days as well. So
Tim says it is on UDisc. We're talking about the Go Throw. Calvin, Goose, and AB are all going to be there. So that's a different setup.
Yeah,
maybe a little more casual, a little more fun, so to speak, than a regular tournament round. I wonder why Gannon is playing.
Well, just sanctioned, I'm guessing.
No, why is he playing at all? Any event this weekend?
Like, why not? Because he's 21 and loves to beat people.
I know that.
That's it. That's literally it. And he took a week off already. So he's good for like 6 or 10 or 12 more weeks of playing.
I just think, and maybe he has done this calculus, and maybe he hasn't. I don't know the type of ratings the course gives, if they're high or low. I don't know if he cares about that anymore now that he has the highest rated round. Would it shock me to hear that he kind of pulls out of this event? Not really. I don't think he will. But if you told me on, like, in 2 or 3 days, Gannon decided he's not going to play. He's just going to stay in Iowa. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But he's probably going to go.
Yeah. Like I would bet money on it.
I just think that none of his normal cohorts are there and whatever. Or maybe he's, his contract is up. Maybe he's looking at chatting with the DD people that are there.
Yeah,
you never know.
Earlier.
Wait, Tim says, my bad. That was 2025. Damn you, Tim.
Or someone else had said, Gannon said he's doing Jomez commentary. And that might have just a slightly different appeal to him. It's like, hey, that'll be fun.
He does have a lot of fun doing commentary in general.
And with that, I'll quickly say, because we didn't even touch on it really, I just saw yesterday the birth of Big Germ and Jewel's daughter. So congratulations to them.
Little Germ.
A little Germ, which doesn't feel quite as fitting when it's a girl. I don't know why, but
because her name's not Jeremy, but just.
But in general, even just as a nickname, like even if it were a boy, I feel like there's somewhere that like Lil Germ would probably develop or something.
I don't.
When
you're
a girl, I don't think you're gonna.
I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. I don't think she'll be able to get away from it.
Yeah.
Like she will be Little Germ. Like that's whether she likes it or not. I used to jokingly call my Sid, little parasites. I was like, all they're doing is, just they're stuck to my wife and just she feeds them. I mean, what else? They're parasites. So germs and parasites, they're all in the same family to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I think we've got everything covered that we need to for the night.
For sure.
It was great to get the insight from Matt, and it genuinely does spark a new interest for me to go find a place to fit 6 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 12. Okay,
maybe you can fix the 3 holes that are at Doctor's Park.
I've never been there.
It's the 3-hole. I don't even know if it's 3 truly holes or they just have 3 random baskets.
See, I feel like that was somewhere else I recently.
Well, there's one
across
at Lake Park, I think it's Lake Park on the south side. Or no, Grant Park. I'm sorry, Grant Park.
Those I put in.
They've got just 3 holes in like a triangle area.
Right. Yeah, Grant Park and Underwood Park both have 2 3-hole loops.
Yep.
That I had helped with to try and make it wheelchair friendly.
Mm-hmm. And that's great
for that. And that was again 20 years ago. But
we'll have to maybe before a show sometime we'll wander over there and just kind of check them out.
I got course records to set. All right, with that, we're gonna call it. It's been it's a lot of fun having Matt, as we said, along with all the support and the peeps over at UDisc. Appreciate everything they're doing. Go out and support them in any way, and whether that's just logging your round or creating an account with them to show that you're yet one more person playing disc golf. Buy a pro subscription if you want to really support them, whatever that obviously gives you some additional features and things that aren't accessible to everybody. So if you want to be cool like that, you should. We love what they're doing. That's 6:17. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have an after show. We'll have giveaways, all that other good stuff, give you a few other updates in the world. But most importantly, we have giveaways.
We do.
That's 6:17. We'll see you in a minute when you step inside the SmashBox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV Podcast 617's
After Show. Which I think I'm wearing the After Show shirt tonight.
Damn, take
My
it
undershirt.
off, take it off, take it off.
There it is, the Patreon
there
After
it
Show
is.
shirt.
There it is. I was just talking, speaking of Patreon, I was just talking to Dave over at the Dyers Guild, who's doing some pretty good stuff these days. Lots of random good things. I have an idea for a Patreon giveaway, and I haven't shared it with you yet, and I'm not fully sharing all the details here, but just the idea of, would it be cool if we came up with this like Patreon giveaway package that was essentially the same for the whole year? Meaning every single week it was this particular package that we assemble. It'll be some cool stuff, but it just consistently is that thing that is then shipped out to you. Obviously, if you win more than once, we could, find a way to account for that potentially.
I don't mind the concept. I do kind of like the randomness of of getting like this week I'm getting a Samui disc, or next week I'm gonna get this really cool Discraft disc, or an Innova disc, or a towel
from some random place, or some thing, or a signed VIP pass that I got from the.
And not to say we still can't throw those things in, but I do like the uniqueness of some of the things.
Okay, well, you're not going to get anything, so don't worry about it.
Well, that's fine.
You get nothing.
That's fine.
Nothing at all.
It's like Willy Wonka.
Right. I saw the question, speaking of Willy Wonka, this couldn't be more random.
Wow.
I saw the question on Family Feud the other night.
Ooh.
Which I really second guess. First of all, some of those
people
are idiots.
When you watch, I do.
Yeah. But the question was, if Willy Wonka got busted for making something other than chocolate, what would it be?
Alcohol.
Yes.
That's got to be the number one answer.
I don't remember if it was one or two, but it was definitely on the board.
I mean,
alcohol.
Someone could be like drugs.
Right. That was definitely
would be up
an
there.
There were,
and then after that, you kind of think like, what do you make that is illegal that you can get busted for? I mean, because you assume drugs is a generic,
right.
methamphetamine, crack, cocaine, heroin. I can go through them all, Tare. Lord knows I have.
Yeah, you haven't met a drug you haven't tried or liked yet.
I've never done any drugs. I should try. Now,
just high
maybe when I turn 50. Maybe when I turn 50, I'll start doing drugs. Anyway, but I was trying to think like, what would you get busted?
I remember some of them were really stupid.
It has to be one of those ones where it's like 1 and 2 are like 80% of the answers, and then you're just kind of randomly guessing. And the whole point of that question is just to get a dumb answer so it goes viral on social media, right? Like that's kind of they always, not always, but it feels like once a week they throw a dumb question like that in where the answer could either be sexually suggestive, so that you get the Steve Harvey crazy like, oh, look, and then inevitably it shows up on social media feeds. That's kind of their whole ploy. Sorry to spoil it for everybody.
Then that also made me think, and I've said this before, so I'll put it out into the world again. At some point, at some level, I think I would enjoy hosting a game show.
So, should you and I take the families to the new restaurant out in Brookfield called Game Show?
It's not that new. And is it a restaurant or is it just a?
It's like I think they do food there.
Or are we thinking of two different places? Because there's a place that does game shows.
Does game shows. I thought they had food there too.
I don't think so.
No.
If they do, it's like because you're bringing a whole team. And it's a team building.
Sure.
Like, I that's the secondary. It's not like, hey, you're going there to eat. I think them maybe offering food as a secondary side.
Sure.
Quest,
okay.
As the kids say.
And I only know about it. I'd never heard of it except for a friend of ours. He got suckered in by his wife. His son just turned 19, I believe, or 20. I think his son just turned 20. And he's home from college. And so he invited a bunch of friends. And the mom was like, yeah, we'll pay. We'll go ahead and do that. And so he's like, it's like $350, John. And I'm paying for this whole crew to come. And just a bunch of 20-year-old boys. And he's like, it'll probably be fun, but ugh. Like, he's like, I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, it funny. Dave and I were just looking at this service. It's in Brookfield, and they have all these various game shows set up. That then you have obviously a game show host that then can lead you through it, and it can be for family reunions, team building, blah blah blah.
Okay,
yeah. We were just on this website a few weeks ago.
Game show battle rooms.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 7 years ago. So it's
it's been around that long?
Yeah, it's been around a minute.
I feel like it. I just heard of it. I don't know. So
get with the times, kid.
I'm clearly behind.
Anyway,
did you know that bars do trivia sometimes?
That's a good trivia question.
Wow,
funny you say that.
Yeah.
I mean, this clearly goes hand in hand with last week when I was asking all my great trivia questions. But on a serious note, watching the Family Feud or sitting down and having it on for a little while and then screaming at the TV, because that's what you mainly do. Of that game, sure, more than most, right? Because anyone can answer anything. You're far more likely to get an answer up on the board there than you are in Jeopardy. Let's be real.
Which is funny. No, of all the things, the scenario in my head, maybe because it's familiar, maybe I do yell at the TV at Family Feud a little bit, but I don't scream out answers because usually you go one at a time. So he goes down the line and he asks Grandma, "Hey, Grandma, what's your answer?" And then everybody in the room is like, "Here's the answer I would give." Whereas of Jeopardy, when they answer the question, everybody yells out the question because they want to be the first one to answer it and the loudest. Like, I know that one.
Yeah.
Helen of Troy or whatever.
Right.
But for Family Feud, everyone's kind of like, I feel like it's a little more, which you'd think would be the opposite because Family Feud being a much more ruckus than this is Jeopardy.
Here's what I didn't understand about that particular episode is the question came through and this one guy on one of the teams tried to answer it. It was like one of the dumbest answers. It was so unbelievably dumb to whatever his answer was to whatever the question was, doesn't even matter. It was just one of the dumbest things you could have ever answered that made no sense. Mm-hmm. So that was this first guy's go at an answer for one of the questions.
The very first go? Or like that was like
no. This was like when they were, the team won it and then or won it and then mom went, dad went, and then it was like him and
for
he's
strike
up next.
3 or whatever.
Yeah. This is just some random question, random answer, dumbest thing I'd ever heard. Almost, I was like, okay. The next time through, they get to this guy on some other thing a round or two later, and the guy goes, Steve Harvey says, "And what's your answer?" He goes, nothing. As in, like, he had nothing for an answer. He literally wouldn't give any answer of any kind to whatever the question was. Okay. I'm like, oh my God, you literally can't say that. Say pepperoni, even if you're talking about flavors of toothpaste. I don't give a shit. Say something.
Yeah.
This guy he literally just said nothing. That wasn't an answer that he was attempting. He just said, as in, I've got nothing.
I would, thankfully, no one that I would bring on that show would give that answer that I know of. But if someone did,
you go down the line and smack a bitch.
I would walk down there and I would smack. I don't care if it's my son on live television
or your wife,
or
nothing you haven't done before.
No, I've never hit my wife.
Hard. That's not funny.
No. I would probably lose it.
Well,
I would lose it on live TV.
Let me get to the point though. They picked this jackass to be
for
the
finals?
finals.
Oh God!
And I'm screaming at the TV saying, "You're putting this idiot." He gave no answer and the dumbest answer I've ever heard. Consecutively, and somehow, and he does not appear to be a bright individual. And you guys are like, who put you up to this?
Did they win the finals?
So his mom or grandma or whoever was the first person to go. The finals.
Yeah.
She was the first. It was like a mediocre first answer, pretty good second answer. The third one was great, and the fourth one was great, and the fifth one was pretty good. She gets 164 of the 200 points.
So he basically just has to get 2 questions.
Which I was nervous. I'm now even screaming more at the TV saying, "Oh my God, this idiot's not going to get them there." She has one of the best setups ever. And this idiot's not going to get them over the line.
Oh my God!
And he gives like
a fly on the wall to be there.
A crappy first answer and like a mediocre second answer. and then ultimately a good third answer, and then the last two weren't even that good.
Sure.
Because all I'm thinking is, I remember thinking,
Yeah,
if they get to the fourth and fifth questions, they're not going to get over it. His last two answers were also terrible, and thank God for him and his family. His third answer of whatever that was a good one, and I was just screaming the whole time. I maybe need to quit watching that show when there's idiots of this level on it.
You never know if there's an idiot on the level at that level.
I should have just shut it off. They're like, this is a show where it's like, man, do I break my TV over this? Does a Roku remote need to go into my little tiny TV over this?
And you said you would love to like host a show.
I think I would. Certain shows.
We literally tried that, Terry.
Right.
I think if
I don't think it was the worst thing I've ever done.
No.
But I'm just saying,
not at all.
Depending on the style of show, naturally.
Yeah, I don't have.
I think
anymore.
it would. Let's put it this way: a show like Family Feud, where Steve Harvey is extrapolating a little bit or extracting a little bit of personality out of these people, right?
Yeah.
That's his job. It's not, they're not trying to rifle through the questions and the board as quickly as possible, clearly. Unlike a Jeopardy, which for the most part, you're there to get to the meat and the potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Harvey's there to move the show along and to have the contest, but it's a little bit of personality as well, like with them.
Yeah.
And that's the type of show that I think I would enjoy more.
Mm-hmm.
Or Love Connection. Maybe the new Chuck Woolery.
All right, Terry. You are head of the household on Family Feud. You're
right.
Your crew, I'm not going to say your family, your crew, you get to pick. Who is the first disc golfer you pick to be on that show with you? Like the guy standing or girl standing next to you. I want to put you on the spot here.
I'm not even mad about this at all. You put Kelvin Heimberg next to you.
Okay.
Like,
because that's not necessarily he's an extremely smart guy.
He is.
We're talking Family Feud here, so
I know
the questions might not be.
Kelvin can span any form of question.
I know he can.
Like it's not like if we only get certain style. Mm-hmm. Kelvin is well-rounded and smart enough in many different ways that I wouldn't feel uncomfortable with him answering any given question. Oh, I'm sure there's one, but I'm sure there's one that I could easily bomb too. But,
sure. I mean, I think if you started favorite Marvel characters, he might be like, oh,
sure.
Or there are things, of course. You know who I think I would pick? I think Parker Welk. He seems like a really
that's a good facade he puts on. He's
probably.
I do commentary with him. No, of course, very smart.
I think he just generally kind of has that aura. Like there are some disc golfers I like most of the younger disc golfers I wouldn't put
Name
on.
the dumbest disc golfer that you know.
Who can I say?
I'll save you. No, and clearly you have what? Sophia Donica on your team? You have Madison Walker on your team?
I don't know. Like the questions, if I'm going on like a good quiz show, yes. But some of these questions are like, we asked 100 people this question. Like, I don't necessarily know those particular people. I don't know Sophia that well, but I don't know I don't know her, I don't call them street smart, so to speak, but just your general, everyman kind of thing. Like Sophia's really smart and she's really cultured and she does a lot of really cool things. She might not be dumb enough to be on there. Right. She might be too smart.
Yeah. We asked 100 married men.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. But again, your common sense. I don't think you have to be smart even to be there.
I don't think so. I think,
even though I'm naming some of my favorite smarter people on the tour.
I think they would all be fine. Like I would never turn any of them down. I'm just thinking like, are there better people? I could see like a Ezra Robinson, I think.
Okay.
Yuli, maybe. I think Yuli has a lot of. He's older. I think he just has a. He is. I just think he has a lot. I think someone like. I'm trying to think of who else. I would.
You got some free thinkers that just are going to randomly.
because you want somebody that kind of has a wide swath. I bet you like Cat Allen would probably be pretty good on there.
Sure.
Jen Allen, maybe.
Yeah, there's not a ton of like.
There's not people I mean, there's a few people I'm sure I would shy away from.
Just purely on age. You know, you can love and respect a Joey Buckets, but he clearly or plenty of guys, and you're like, okay, well,
you don't have the life experience.
You give somebody else the nod simply based on the years on Earth, you know, or whatever the case might be. So I don't know. Durko says, I don't think a lot of dudes could name a T Swift song. I know I can't. You can.
Shake It Off is the one that I think.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah,
and there's one called Love Song, right?
That sounds probably.
I think so. Only because I remember the Disc Golf Network asked a bunch of the pros what their favorite Taylor Swift song. And I think one of them said Love Song, and I'm like, that's a really generic name, but I know Shake It Off.
22. I'm feeling 22. Nope. You know the chorus of that.
I don't think I do.
You do.
I truly don't think I do.
You almost have to.
I truly don't.
And granted, I have 15 and 17-year-old daughters. I understand, but or blank space. I'll write your name anyway.
Nope.
All right, we don't need to get into all that. Big Germ would take up all the time. Buzz Swan. Big Germ would be a great answer giver as well. You're right. He may exceed the time limit of giving you a lengthy answer, but he would definitely have a solid answer to give in a lot of those scenarios. So anyway, that was some offshoot randomness of me watching a little bit of Family Feud. And we poll 100 men or 100 women or 100 spouses or whatever. One of the questions.
These are the questions that should be on the Ulta World yearly quiz. Not who's your favorite player, what tour discs have you bought,
right?
Which one of these people would you put on Family Feud,
right? And then a Family Feud versus
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. I mean,
versus $100,000 pyramid.
We just had Conrad Damon, give us his Wheel of Fortune story from a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, who? Just slap me now and run my face into the wall. If you're not putting Stork on your team for Family Feud, then I think you're an idiot.
For Family Feud?
Yeah, that guy knows everything about everything.
I know he does. I don't know, just Family Feud.
Polled 100 people about blank. Yeah,
probably.
Stork's the man. Stork needs to be on your team. A Hammock would be good. Yeah, he could be all right.
Oh, no, Brad Hammock, I do not want him on my team. That dude would give the weirdest answers. Like,
it would be. And you'd have to awkwardly be like, good answer, good answer.
Good answer. Like I love Brad. He's a phenomenal human. I don't know if I would trust the answers he would give.
There would be some.
He's the viral answer. Like, he's the guy,
Or he's the last one that pops up because one person said it, answered it, and he nailed it.
That's right.
And don't even get me started. Clearly, there is a production note, and I haven't been on it, and I haven't asked about this.
Of course.
Don't get me started, because the question is, once you win up at the podium, right? Your team wins the option
to go.
You've never once in your life seen someone, we'll pass. We'll let them take it. They always say, we'll play. I don't know if that's a craving for the spotlight, or if production says, hey, play them, always play. Because I've never seen someone pass. And some of these things are so difficult. I always think, why would you play that? There's 8 answers on the board. This is a super obscure question. Your family's not getting this.
Yeah, if there's
pass it.
If there's the funny thing is, I think if there's like a ton of answers, like we have the top 8 or 9 answers, at that point you think, well, maybe I'll pass. But the hard part is, do you want to be, if there's that many answers, there's probably a few obvious ones you're going to get. And if you think your family's going to get the obvious ones, why do you want to pass? I don't know, Terry.
I honestly, everything I just said goes out the window, because I scream the most at pass. Like they now I got to Google it. Do they all but insist?
No, it's not going to, you're not going to find that answer anywhere probably, but
do they encourage?
No, I just think
families to I want this to autocomplete. Do they encourage families to play first in Family Feud?
That's
I don't know. I tell me if I'm
but
crazy.
You're
if
not,
any of you
no
others
one,
have ever thought of this.
Very, very rarely have I ever seen anyone pass.
Right. I don't think I ever have to this day.
Mm-hmm.
How to play rules. Join the. You can pass or play. Producers and the fast-paced nature of the show encourage families to choose play. This keeps the game moving, builds momentum, and gives the family 2 ways to win the round, either by clearing all the answers or preventing the opposing team from stealing. Okay.
All right, so you nailed it.
Strategically, however, this default encouragement can be a trap. Players on Quora note that passing is often the mathematically superior move in later rounds, as it allows your family to discuss answers privately and potentially steal the points. I feel so damn validated right now.
I'm glad.
Because I've been screaming this for years on how I watch these teams and how so rarely do you clear the board. Do you answer them?
Yeah.
And the steal is so much more commonly in play.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I'm done with Family Feud for tonight. Till next week when I'm worked up again.
I just think the steal, like early rounds, is so hard to get.
Maybe. But
I mean, I'm glad you feel validated tonight, Terry.
I feel validated because I've never Googled it before tonight, and now I know that they are encouraging you. Pace of play, yeah, whatever. Steve Harvey could talk less.
Well, no, the whole point is everyone's watching Steve Harvey. You know. Again, everything is a point to go viral. So
anyway, best of luck to everyone this upcoming weekend, wherever you're playing golf, or if you're in
Family Feud.
You're in Family Feud.
Good luck.
Do you know the band Special 38?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
They were playing in a nearby festival this last weekend,
Do I even
and
have
I didn't
a
know
song on my phone.
I don't know if you would, because isn't it? I'd be surprised if you did have something by them, but maybe. Anyway, I just didn't know. That's about as random as it gets. Nuttree says, "You're not crazy. I've often wondered the same." I'm just going to go out of left field on this one as well. Soon, hopefully, we'll be giving some more announcements, at least about a few of the Asia Tour events. Plans are in the talks. Asia Tour, how that's going to look like, what events that will or won't look like, including the Samui Swine. Of course, we'll be gearing up to be in Thailand in Samui this upcoming year, probably in January or February.
I was thinking G-Love and Special Sauce.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, who I've actually seen here in Milwaukee with our buddy Dave. Once many years ago.
They were on a mixed album I had a decade.
Anyway, so just throwing that out there. It's crazy. I mean, end of July, we're like past midway through the season, and then specifically, I do think everybody coming back from their version of a European summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's all gas, no brakes for the next month.
It truly is.
This weekend, as we just said, whether you're at Eagles Crossing or maybe some players will be also in Emporia. Okay, not officially back, but close to it. But then following week, Emporia is an extra long week. Excuse me, Peoria. We go from Peoria to Emporia, or vice versa. Peoria is an extra long week. You've got 4 rounds plus all the extracurriculars that take place at Ledgestone. Then a few days break. Everybody goes over to Des Moines. Then a few days break. Everybody goes over to Preserve. And then a couple extra days that they'll have. But then the World Championships over in Detroit. It's going to be a grind for the next month for sure. Not that it isn't all year long, but 4 or 5 consecutive big weekends in a row all coming up. So looking forward to it. All right. Our buddy Dustin went and saw the Odyssey.
Oh, yeah. Did you see it in IMAX?
I don't know. He saw it yesterday during the day. I'm guessing he did, but
I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, let's see here. I'm just seeing if any place in the area is showing it in the 70 millimeter in Wisconsin. Because the whole point. So Christopher Nolan, who is doing the Odyssey,
all shot on an iPhone.
It was shot on IMAX, which is 70 millimeter, which is more or less like the old school 4:3,
right?
Like tube TV. And if you're watching it any other way, it's technically cut off top and bottom. So I was thinking, someone was saying how this is like the IMAX viewings. Are you like there's places you can't get into IMAX for months now because people are like reserving tickets because this is such a huge movie. Not revolutionary. It's just such a big movie, and everybody wants to see it in IMAX. Maybe not months, but weeks. So I don't know if there's a place in Milwaukee to see it. I know we have an IMAX theater.
Yeah, I thought it just said
where to see the Odyssey in IMAX in Wisconsin. So at Mayfair and in Fitchburg, which is over in Madison. So yeah, there's two places really to see it. No, that's to see it in IMAX. I'm sorry, it's 70 millimeter, which is slightly different formatting is the Oriental or the Marcus in Brookfield. I would love to go back to the Oriental. It's been a couple of years since I've been there. We used to see movies there all the time in college because it was right up the road. That and Downer. But I mean, I think it's probably, I've heard mixed reviews on it. I've heard it's a little bit boring. It's that the dialogue isn't the greatest, but it's a spectacle. That's kind of how I feel. I like superhero movies, and that's how I feel as well. It's like, cool, I'm not going there to hear the dialogue. I'm going there for a fun story, see a bunch of crashes and explosions, and I like weird sci-fi stuff. That's my thing. I thought about taking my son to go see the Odyssey because he has always been extremely interested and he's very, very knowledgeable about Greek and Roman gods and culture and stuff like that. So he has a good history on that. And I asked him, I was like, do you want to go see that maybe? He's like, well, I think some of my friends are thinking about seeing it. I said, okay, well, you guys should plan that. He's like, oh, we'll see. Like a bunch of dudes that just like don't make really a plan. They talk about it, but then don't do it. But
punks.
I know. Anyway, I'd be interested in seeing it. It's a long movie. It's a rescue Matt Damon movie. That dude is there. Are you familiar with kind of the meme that like all of Matt Damon's movies, you're either trying to find him or rescue him?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have no opinion on it because whatever. Did Dustin give you a review on it?
No, we had talked. I just knew he had the day off. We were talking about getting together, and then he said, "Oh, I just got out of the movie," and I'm not a matinee daytime moviegoer in the first place, but and also I don't know that the movie necessarily would have sparked my interest had we made plans earlier.
Probably not.
But I just didn't know. It looked way more up your alley than mine.
I mean, again, it's something I'll probably, if I don't catch it now, I'll wait till it hits HBO Max or something, and I'll catch it there for certain. But the next movie I'll probably go see, it'll be Spider-Man in a week or two. I'll bring my family to go see that. Yeah.
Okay.
The family will usually go see a superhero movie or cartoon for my daughter. So,
quick side note: noticing that the Chicago Cubs, who I generally root for, won this evening. I see 11-2. That's only slightly more significant. My daughter and her boyfriend are at the game, and hopefully everything's going well. They were gonna have the experience of parking way up on the north side where the L begins and then taking the L down into the game, which is just a unique, some of you may think no big deal, but when you live in Wisconsin and you don't have that type of transportation and it's kind of a learning curve.
So they didn't,
some excitement.
They didn't want to go down there and try to park nearby Wrigley?
No, they were, so they took
something that's dumb stuff you and I would do.
Right. And that was an option, but they also wanted to do some other things. So I think they were going to get a pass so that they could travel around on the mass transit, which, of course, we don't really have in Wisconsin. So hoping everything has gone well with them. I should probably check in with her and hope that it's as she's 17 and she's been down there. But
Nuttree says he's seen it in IMAX and it's outstanding. He enjoyed it. It's quite long.
Okay.
So again, if maybe I'll make a point to see it in IMAX as there is one here in Milwaukee then.
Nice. I have another daughter who is off at camp. And let me just say,
oh, jeez,
not I love this, and it's inspired me a little bit. I don't know if enough to make an effort. Phone was taken away from all campers a half hour before arriving to the facility. So they had a 13 or 15-hour bus ride.
Mm-hmm.
They got on the bus at like 11 o'clock.
Where they could use their phones. Or
they could use their phone,
or whatever, yeah.
13-hour bus ride, or it was at least 13 hours. 13 hours nonstop, down to Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They got on the bus at roughly 11 p.m. on Saturday night. I dropped her off, and they were on a nice coach bus. It was more than 13 hours when it was all said and done, and you lose an hour. But anyway, so a half hour before they arrive at camp, they go through, collect all the phones from everyone on the bus, and they get their phone back when they roughly are a half hour en route back. So basically a half hour after they get back on the bus. How long is she there? And she's there almost a full week.
That's great.
Sunday to Saturday. And
one of my daughter's best friends goes every year to a camp over in Minnesota. 3 weeks, no phone.
That's and I know this is all. There's plenty of people, especially if your kids are older or you or they were not part of a phone generation. I know you're thinking, "Oh, that's so stupid. Who cares?" You know, blah blah blah. Of course, kids should detach, as should adults. But that's so much easier said than done. And with the way things are these days with kids and their phones, there was some pictures that were posted publicly by like staff members or whatever on some websites. Obviously, it looks like they're all having a great time. I love the idea that, and my whole point was, could I detach and literally not take my phone with me anywhere for any reason, not a phone call, not an emergency, nothing, and not touch my phone for a day? And
for a day, yeah.
It would be tough.
Tonight when you leave your phone here.
No, I don't know how to get home.
And then I say tomorrow I'll let you come pick it up.
No, I'm not ready for that. Not yet.
You've never forgotten your phone for
not for a whole day,
like 6-7 hours, like
maybe. And as we all know, it's not. There's an element of like. Not necessarily that you're using it. It's like a safety blanket too,
I
right?
That.
Like if you needed to make a call or if you needed to do something. Yeah. And I know we both lived in the world pre-cell phone,
of course.
So I know, but anyway, it made me think about that little challenge. One thing also that I'm working on and failing at currently. Obviously, I'm on a slightly different schedule than most, as I was up to about 6 a.m. last night, and then didn't, or this morning, whatever, and then woke up at 1, and it felt good to get a full 7 hours. So I'm on a weird schedule in general. I'm trying to not touch my phone for the first half hour that I'm awake. Because of my schedule, I don't usually have to like jump up out of bed and like get right to something like work, like most people.
Yeah.
At a certain time. And so naturally I find myself wasting time. I get caught up with like things in disc golf, but then sometimes I slip into wasting time. And the idea is get up, do things, and literally not touch my phone even for that 30 or 60 minutes. And it's good how much more productive I can be, and working on some restraints in those ways.
Again, you want to do that. Don't sleep with your phone in your room. My wife doesn't. I find it weird.
She's got all the entertainment she needs.
Nah, that's right. No, she leaves her phone in the bathroom, and then she goes to bed, and she'll read a book.
I'm not going in your bathroom anymore.
For like a half hour before bed, and then she goes to sleep. And when she wakes up, she gets up, does whatever, showers. I mean, she maybe checks her phone when she goes into the bathroom, but she leaves it almost always either on the charger in kind of our dining area or in the bathroom. She has made it a point to never take the phone into the bedroom. We don't have a TV in the bedroom either. Like when I first met my wife, because I grew up with like a little TV in my bedroom where I would watch TV at night or stumping before bed, play video games as a kid. But when I moved in with my wife, I was like, oh, cool. We've got now an extra TV. She had a TV, I had a TV. I'm like, we could put one in the bedroom. And she was like, no TVs in the bedroom. And I was like, huh? Like, what? And she was just like, yeah, no TV.
Did she spank you too?
That's different. No, but she flat out, she's like, no, I don't want a TV in my bedroom. I don't want that distraction. I don't have. And so for 20 some years that we've known each other and that we've lived together, because we lived together in sin before we got married.
You would.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Heathen.
We have not had a TV. Now, I have taken the iPad in there. We have watched, occasionally we'll, like, oh, you want to lay down in bed and watch like something or a movie? Maybe once or twice a year we'll do that, or we'll sit and watch something. I bring my phone into the bedroom. I check my phone. It's usually, like I said, I play a game of cards on my phone before bed, and sometimes I'll check the news, and then I usually put my phone down next to me, charging, and I go to sleep. My wife doesn't. And she's good. I love that about her. She's
very admirable.
She's much more, disconnected she can be than I. But yeah.
Wow.
Tim says, I've been trying to read more. Just finished Dune Messiah on the children and on to Children of Dune. I've not. Is Messiah the third book?
It's better than the movie. That's all I can say.
Yeah. It's been a while. I read the first 2 or 3 when I was a kid, only because my mom liked them, and so she had the books lying around, so I read them, and I can't remember. It's been so long, I can't remember, and the movie's coming out soon here. But yeah, I would like to read more before bed as well, but not like a physical book. Like, my wife reads a physical book. She has a stack of books that she has gotten, and she reads them. When I was reading before bed, it was always on a Kindle, which I'm okay with. The Kindles, I wish I had more. There are a million books I can probably read. I just need to find something to do to read them. And like, oh, I need to find this. And I'm sure I'll get a bunch of suggestions here. Like, you should read this. You should read that. You're right. I should. But I just haven't made an effort.
Do you then link to your library?
And
like the Libby app or whatever, and then you can just download books from the library or check out books from the library?
I don't know. The only books that I've read, like, my son had a bunch of books on the Kindle that I just started reading, because he wasn't reading them because he'd already read them. And so I figured, like, oh, I'll just, read some of these. So I read a bunch of Brandon Sanderson books. I read God, what else did I read? I read 1 or 2 other books that he had on there. And then I was like, oh, I'm out of books. And then I stopped reading it because I was too lazy to go find more books and put them onto the account and download them. Because I'll say the Kindle that we have is super old and it's slow and laggy as hell. So when I tried to like go to the App Store, I was like, oh, I'll just go to the App Store. It was like click, and you could see it like loading. And I was just like, oh, screw this. I'm not, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just go online and look. But then I never do the next morning. I wait until that night when I'm going to go to bed, and the whole thing, and it's just laziness.
Lazy. Yeah, okay. Talked about it earlier how Dustin and I went and played Estabrook.
You and I talked about it last week.
Which was...
I said Estabrook, I'm not the biggest fan of.
It's been a minute since I'd been there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm going to make it a point to go back. I mean, it's shorter, technical. It always has been.
I love the
multiple T's and pins.
I like the front 9 of Estabrook, front 9 or 10. It's when you get into that back that there's something about that back that just doesn't do it for me. It's like... Yeah. I don't know if it's just the whole length versus the front and the shapes of the holes, or just there's some of them it's like, I don't know. I do really love that front 9 that's on the right-hand side that you run right up. I think those are a lot of fun. And then after that, I'm just kind of like, me.
Oh, now I want to go out and see what how Matt rated it when he was here and in town.
Should I ask him?
What was he doing in town?
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask him why he was in town for one day. He did say he did not get any bogeys out there, though. So good for him. That's what he said. He hinted at it.
I believe that. One thing that is going to happen is the Silver Cup footage. Finally, I did commentary on round 1 today, so that leads me to think that round 1 could drop tomorrow, and then the final round, which was round 3, will drop the day after that. So Silver Cup, A-tier here in Wisconsin. The first round feature card, I'll give you the little tease. The first round feature card had Kale Leviska, Greg Barsby, Paul Kranz, and Thomas Earhart.
Never heard of any of them.
A.K.A. Brian's better-looking, better-throwing brother. So there's that. Anyway, So working on that. And thank you for those that have supported and been watching and sharing the Out of Production podcast. The latest one that was dropped last Wednesday was with Tita Ugalde.
We saw at USWDGC.
Yeah, she's everywhere because she's awesome. So PDGA number 83, Tita Ugalde, is out there, and the next one will drop next Wednesday. So thank you guys for sharing, supporting. Lots of people sending some love about hearing some of these old stories. I mean, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the 70s and the 80s and the early Frisbee and disc golf culture and early PDGA numbers and people and movers and shakers and the other disc disciplines. I mean, the stories to watch so many of these guests just light up the way that they have when talking about some of these memories and these moments has been so rewarding. So thank you to everyone that's been enjoying that action. And if you need any boxes or bags, I'm fully restocked on both. Okay. Stopped and picked up some more 2 mil and 4 mil bags. I never thought there'd be a world where I'd be like, yeah, I'm super excited to drop $1,500 on plastic bags or $3 or $5 grand on some cardboard boxes.
When I spend $1,500 on plastic bags, there's usually some good stuff inside.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
So, yeah, all I'm offering is empty bags, so not nearly as exciting. So
that's what I offer when I'm done.
There you go. Yes, you recycle. So if you need boxes or bags, though, please reach out or visit thediscgolfguy.com.
Or
all right, let's do a giveaway.
Or you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV and
win some free stuff.
You can be eligible for our giveaway. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter, you might notice in the next few weeks some changes to Patreon, to our system. We've been talking about it for a while, but Patreon is now starting to really get on my case about updating our system. So you might notice from like a monthly, it might go to a yearly subscription. We'll get all that sorted out. But either way, they are sending me more and more emails saying, hey, dude, you really have to do this. Like, seriously, you have until November, so let's get this crap done. But we have 93 people eligible for our giveaway this week, Terry. What number should we generate? Or how should we generate the number? How many buttons should I push?
How many buttons? I mean, I believe I have played 3 of the 50 short courses, best short courses. I'm not calling me a short course king or anything, but I think I played 3 of them. So I like the
course
third
out
choice.
when I describe you as that.
You what?
I leave the word course out when I describe you as that.
So yeah, I like the third one.
Okay, the third one. Our first number is, I sorted them by email address, by the way, 69, dude. Kids, ask your parents. Second number is 12. And the third and final number is 79.
79.
79. Let me grab the spreadsheet and I scroll up just a little bit. 79 is Ron Schwartz.
Sweet.
Ron Schwartz, congratulations. You win. His email starts with the letter R. Who would have thought it?
Password is
R. Yes. So Ron Schwartz. We'll get that information to Terry, and he will reach out to you so we can get that done.
Nice. Colin Huff celebrating a birthday today as well. Someone we used to play a short course with over at Valley Views League. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen Colin in a couple of years. It's overdue to get us a little reunion round and some fun going. But happy birthday to Colin Huff. Want to get that in there. The Schwartz was with him. You got it. I even know that reference.
Do you?
I do.
Wait, are you going to go see the sequel?
I didn't know that was happening.
Oh, so here's the Spaceballs sequel?
Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
It'll be out next year or later this
year? To be fair, I need to go watch that movie again. I watched it once. It's
funny.
20-some years ago or 30 or whatever.
Yeah, 30. If you watched it once,
I need to go watch it again. There's a few of the movies like that one that are like, hey, it's time for a refresher.
You got to make your kids watch it too then, right?
Yeah, I don't...
Like, you have to. You have to sit them down and say, hey...
You think my kids would like that?
No, that's why you have to make them watch it.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain movies... I guarantee you... Do your kids like any 80s or 90s movies?
I don't know about movies. They like a lot of random genres and decades of songs, but I don't know about movies.
Do your kids like movies?
They don't watch a lot of movies.
So, and that's part, like if you made them, they're maybe a little too old and they're girls, I'll say like movie The Sandlot, or would you watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a great one to make them watch.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Maybe they would like something like Pretty in Pink or The Breakfast Club now. Those would be good ones. You know, they're probably a little old, and Stand By Me I kind of equate more to like a group of boys because that's what it's around, so they probably wouldn't get the same out of it. It's such a great movie, though, that maybe I'm wrong because it has been 20 years since I've seen Stand By Me. But yeah, I mean, like, you have to make your kids watch like some 80s and 90s movies, like Ghostbusters, or, you know, things like that. You know, make them watch Major League.
Funny enough, we had Major League on recently in the household up north, and I was like, this is easily one of the greatest movies I've ever watched.
But was it on TV, Major League?
No, it was like, I mean, it was like an unedited, PG version.
Because I was going to say, if you're watching Major League on like TBS, it's not worth it.
Like, horse patootie or whatever. You know, no, it was the rated R version, which is the only way to watch.
Make them watch some. I mean, gosh, I just think of these movies like Stripes or Spies Like Us or
Caddyshack.
Like Caddyshack. Yeah, sure. But go make them watch a few John Hughes movies. I think that's a good spot for their age, and they can kind of understand high school life a little bit. They might not understand the detention, but you know, maybe one of your kids does. But no, I think that would be, you know, and then what you get them to watch one of those, and then you get them to watch a movie they're not gonna like, like Spaceballs. Like my kids, my son loved Spaceballs. He thought it was funny. He also kind of likes the Monty Python and the Mel Brooks stuff.
I don't think that's gonna be their style.
No, probably not.
We'll see. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Looks like it's time.
Yeah,
we've been at it. Ron Schwartz, our winner tonight. Thank you, Ron, for being a supporter. I'll reach out. We'll send you an email. I'll send you an email. Hopefully we can get something else sent to you. Yes, of course, MD AVR, which is another thing I should go back and watch. I'm going to end it. I shouldn't bother, but I will quickly say, first of all, I don't think I care what other people. I'm done caring about what other people think of other trophies. But I will say, I think the trophies at U.S. Women's were awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome and they were appropriate.
I don't know how many other divisions, or if it was just FPO, where Silva received that the snowboard. I saw that everyone else got medals. I think that's a great play into Salt Lake City and the Olympics and blah, blah, blah. And medals, I just think, are kind of timeless regardless.
Yeah.
And simple. And if they look nice and they're done well, I think they're great. Obviously, we saw that at the Worlds, for crying out loud, last year. So I'm a big fan of medals. Nice looking, legitimate medals. I'm good with that. I'm good with technically any trophy, but if you think, and I'm calling out specifically Caddy Man, Richard Reister, who made a post, and I know there's probably dozens of others that did, but he specifically made a post about how disc golf trophies should be related to disc golf, and that logic is some of the worst logic I've ever heard.
No, I'm with you. I disagree.
Like related specifically to disc golf, so that gives us a basket, some trees, a fairway,
discs,
or a disc. Like if you're being literal in that sense, because a cup, a globe, a medal, like a million other things we've seen as trophies that can look really cool aren't related to disc golf. So either that, or you're getting the quote unquote bowling trophy with the frisbee throwing guy on the top.
God, the classic.
But it was such an appropriate, just like the cowboy hat is in Texas, the Stetson hat, just like the steering wheel at the Rochester Flying Disc Open was 100% spot on.
The propeller that we have,
just
at
like
Idlewild.
The propeller at Idlewild, there's so many that are great, and there's some that may not be as great.
Sure.
At the end of the day, none of you are winning them, so it shouldn't matter. But to rip on they're playing on a freaking world-renowned ski hill, and many of our women coincidentally do outdoor things like skiing and snowboarding. It was perfect. And if she hates it, she can give it away or sell it, for God's sakes. Just like also, clearly the guitars at Music City Open. This is right in line with all of those. And I understand you didn't like the end result of the lighthouse in Manitowoc, but in theory, the premise was there.
No, it was
the
good.
Lighthouse on Lake Michigan, the lighthouse that some of them stayed at, for God's sakes, at the hotel right near the lighthouse called the Lighthouse Inn. Like, the execution was not spot on in that sense, and I understand that comment.
Maybe it was spot on depending on what you're using it for.
But the point is, the concept was actually there, and also perfect. The casks or the jugs from Virginia for the Worlds, tying into local Virginia lore, like all of that. Like, think outside. Like, have a bigger brain than zero brain or whatever. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't think we need to put ourselves in a box for trophy design. And like you said, some will fall flat. Some won't.
Some will always be better than others, just based on pure like ranking. That's fine, but to not see this connection with this world-renowned ski resort is beyond me. I don't understand that. So I like what you like. I get it. It's still, at the end of the day, this is all opinions based, and that's just my opinion. But I thought it was incredible. So.
Oh, so the Olympics are going to come back to Salt Lake City in 2034?
Followed by the Paralympics in 24.
Yeah, they always
in March.
follow. It's always the same. But I didn't realize, like, because I was just thinking, Salt Lake City, it's been since 2002 since they had the Olympics.
Sure.
And you had mentioned how, like, the trophies for I was like, it's like I don't, when I think of Salt Lake City, I don't think, oh, that's the Olympic town.
Oh, see, I do.
Oh, I don't.
I think of skiing.
I think of
skiing.
And
I think of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics being there,
Yeah.
which coincidentally the Olympics were there because of the skiing facility.
Exactly. I think of skiing and snowboarding and the mountains and stuff like that. And I do think, like, oh, the Olympics, but to base your to have that much of your quote unquote like city culture based around the Olympics, I feel like there's like dozens of cities get the Olympics. Like,
Sure.
you're not special in that aspect. Now, I'm glad obviously you lean into the snowboarding and stuff like that, but I was like, I don't base your whole culture around the fact that you had the Olympics. I mean,
unless it was a phenomenal Olympics.
I mean, it was a good Olympics,
like an above average.
Like, LA's about to have the Olympics too,
Sure.
and, you know, and in 20 years, I'm not going to think of LA as the Olympics town. No.
Unless they end up having the greatest Olympics ever, and that's. But LA is also
they've got so much stuff.
Exactly.
There, you know,
I mean,
it's a
cultural. I don't know
cultural.
that's a fair comparison. Or when it was in Atlanta, like Atlanta obviously has a lot of other things going on that weren't just the defining.
Yeah, when I think of
Olympics.
Atlanta, I think of Richard Jewell.
Well, and the only guy that matters to me from Atlanta is Luda on the ATL.
It's true.
So, on that note, that's enough. So if here's what I'll say: if you don't like the snowboard as a trophy, then don't show up and try and beat Silva and win the trophy. Then, so there's my advice for you.
Okay.
For Johnny V, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. Thank you to Matt Kruger and the regular show. Hope you got some good UDisc info out of him. Go back and listen to it again if you didn't. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters at any capacity. We appreciate you. And next week, we'll see you there. 6/18. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.